Welcome back to Make Me Watch Movies, your mom's favorite movie podcast, starring Schwartz, Jake, and Anthony Islami. The movie you're making me watch today is Substance, directed by Coralie Fargeat, and it is a wild ride.
New in theaters. Check it out.
I got a haiku. You got a haiku?
I got a haiku.
Let's do it.
Boobs, butts, lots of yuck. Need more Demi more for sure. Cronenberg galore.
All right.
Didn't think you had one.
Nicely done.
Yeah,
Nicely
well,
done,
you
Schwartz.
underestimate. You underestimate.
Cronenberg galore.
Need more Demi more, for sure.
Haiku's got it. Got it from a drawer. Went wild with the body horror. The end was no bore.
Man,
That's a good one.
you guys killed it.
Thank you.
I just threw mine together. But here it goes. Holy fucking shit. Sexy and horrifying. Remember, you are one.
Nice. That was good.
Yeah,
Man.
all those things.
This was wild.
When I was walking out, I just was like shaking my head, like, what the fuck did I do?
First time. What was your first time?
That was
First
my
feeling.
first impression of when it was like finally over was like, what the fuck? That's all I could say was what the fuck. I saw it again today, and it was funny to see that, like, as I went to the bathroom once during it, and I came back probably during a gross part, and I just remember like seeing people's faces, like,
This is one of those movies to where seeing it in a communal way is actually awesome. Because the first time I saw it, a lot of people were like, ugh, yuck, oh my God. And today, people were just laughing hysterically at times. And I was too. And it's awesome because, like, it's just like everybody is there because they like this kind of thing. You know what I mean? You show this to somebody who doesn't want to see this or doesn't have any interest in this, and they'd be like, what the fuck are we watching? But all these people in this theater were getting an intense amount of enjoyment out of it. And as I was walking out today, there was an older couple, and the husband was like smiling as I was walking by, and the wife had like a scarf over her face, and I was just like, yeah, she didn't like that shit.
I saw it both times. I saw it. Theater was essentially empty. I did not get that experience, except for today. The first time I didn't. I was the one laughing. So I was so absorbed in what was going on, especially toward the end. I could feel just a grin on my face the whole time. I was like, this is insane. This time. The one other dude like above me, there was certain parts where I heard him clearly laughing out loud, which I was enjoyed because he was an older guy too. I saw him; he left like twice to go to the bathroom, and so he was really old, I think. And
that was me.
And then he was up when he came back. He's like, "Can't remember what happened, but it was a part where I thought it was funny, but I'm sure other people would be like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, Dennis Quaid was amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid was awesome. He dressed like the Joker. It was great. Every time I saw him, I was like, that's what Jared Leto's Joker would wear. It was pretty awesome.
That was gonna be Ray Liotta.
Yeah, it was. Then he died.
Yeah. But yeah, every scene with him was like almost like changed in a weird way. It was like a surreal moment because like it seemed like he was always like shot with like this weird wide lens and like on sort of like on like a low angle in ways. It was always very bizarre when he like popped in,
especially the first
like
one.
Presence to him.
There's so much macro shot, so many macro shots in this. Right up in his face when he's going to the bathroom at first. The sound of him coming down the hallways, his boots are very like it's.
Yeah, so it was those stomps.
The stomps, it's like metal.
Hear the approaching.
The sound in this whole movie. I mean, it won best screenplay at Cannes. But like, I'm wondering what won best sound. And
yeah, everything was like it was all over the top for sure. Like it wasn't like this is brilliant sound design, but because it was so like in your face about it in a way, but it was still good. It was still like a very effective for what they were trying to do. But everything was sort of like
swallowing,
exaggerated.
You're hearing every little thing. I guess a lot. You're just hearing a lot of things that proper sound design would try to cut out. I guess, but
it certainly made me fucking. It certainly made it that because I was fucking squirming in my seat. Like I don't usually have a problem with fucking horror movies and like body horror movies are a little gross, but this is the first movie I can think of where I was actually looking away at times.
Really?
Where I just didn't want to see.
Which parts?
When I was looking away were mostly the needle shots, like especially at like later when it was getting gross.
Yeah.
And then there was a certain teeth scene that I really that was
You don't like that?
Don't like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that the whole sound design, I feel like that's part of her arsenal because even in her first film, that's like what she does. Like that's one of her things. It's like, and I think one of the reasons is because like when she's showing you something that gross and she knows you're going to look away, you also have to hear it. So either way, she's going to get you with it. I think
Yeah.
that's like the
That's a
intention of
good
it with
point.
her. I think that's why she does it.
She
And
says she writes like that too. I think in that interview that you brought up, she
Yeah.
says she writes with just visuals and sound, very little dialogue,
Right.
just thinking
Mhm.
of the sound.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that almost replaces the
Music is more
dialogue in a
sound.
way because the characters are alone a lot. So
Yeah.
like I think those like the sounds and like the atmosphere adds to the character and kind of gives them like something to more. That's like the way they interact in a way.
I mean, like you were saying, the scene when he's eating the shrimp is just,
Ugh.
and like I even the person who eats shrimp, I was disgusted. I was just
Ugh.
like, oh my god, this is fucking gross. It was
Yeah.
shot perfectly. I mean, this movie is supposed to just highlight a lot of things that are wrong with a lot of things, I guess, and like say a lot of things. But the way it's done is so interesting. It doesn't even matter a lot of the time. Like there is a lot of subtext to this movie in every scene, and in just in general, the subtext does in this movie because of like it's just a very it's a movie made by a woman about women, but it's just done in a very, very, very interesting and clever way. Like that's what's so cool about the
Would
movie.
you say it's more style over substance?
No, I wouldn't because I think that it's the same thing
Not
with
saying that there's
Cronenberg.
no substance.
Well, I don't. Well, sure but I think when you say that, that's a negative thing. I think that's saying, yeah, the movie looked cool and it had a lot of cool visuals, but the story sucked. Where I don't agree with that with this, and like I do think there is more style and there is less substance, but the substance it does have is still just as good as the style. So I don't think
agree.
it takes away from the movie. You know what I mean?
don't either.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying you do, but I think when you say that statement, that's what that
Yeah,
means
for
usually.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Usually
So,
people are talking shit when they say that, but
any Cronenberg movie can be said the same for though. It's like
Well,
there's
yeah,
a lot of
a
style,
lot of
but the
movies, yeah.
substance is fucking there, man. Like
It's
yeah,
there.
the visual
Yeah.
and the shock value don't really override the plot as much as like some movies
exactly,
do.
exactly.
And
I mean, there are
and they're used perfectly. Everything's used. All the visuals are used perfectly, even like
so
from the nudity to the
yeah.
syringes to the everything. It was done. It was sexy. Like I said, it was sexy, but it was horror. It
Mhm.
was it was definitely not like erotic, but it was definitely sexy. I would say.
Right.
Oh, it was super sexy, and I think you could call it erotic. I do think it was erotic. I think it was like, I
Like
think
I
it
was never
was
thinking like turned on by it because it was just so
Yeah.
weird,
it was just,
icky.
it
It
was
was very icky.
surreal, icky, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
sound was really the not
it's
that I
Yeah.
was like, how come I don't have a boner right now? But I was like, it's
I had
sexy
that thought a couple
without
times,
being
but
like erotic. Go on about your thought.
yeah, clinical. It was more clinical than sexual.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
don't get me
that
wrong.
yeah,
Both ladies are super
for
hot.
sure. Both I was, enjoy. I was not that I didn't enjoy it. Enjoy
No,
those
I mean,
aspects.
obviously. I mean, the way that she shot the movie was great, but I think the cinematography was great, but I think what made the movie was the editing. I think the editing was way more prevalent than cinematography. The editing and the sound design are what this movie was built on. The performances were great too, though. Like when I rewatched it a second time, the first time I was really into Demi Moore's character because I was like, damn, this character is great. But this time, I really watched Margot Qualley's character, and like when she like in the end when she gets pissed and like she starts that big brawl, that is such a great fucking scene. Like her acting in that scene is pretty awesome, and I think she's pretty good. Like some movies she's in, I'm like, she's kind of annoying, but she was great in this. And it's not her; it's probably just the character she's playing. You know what I mean? But I mean, I liked her in Once Upon a Time. I thought she was pretty good in that, and I thought she was pretty good in this too. This might be my favorite performance of hers, to be honest. I thought she was
I always
awesome in
liked
this.
her.
Definitely.
I always liked her.
Yeah.
She was in the leftovers early on when she was
Yes.
younger. That kind of caught my attention.
She was good in that actually. Yeah.
Since then,
That
I've
show's
kind of
fucking
always liked the
amazing.
stuff she did. Yeah,
God, that show's amazing.
It's a great show.
Demi Moore though, pretty great.
Dude,
Demi
Demi
Moore is
Moore's been in a lot of great films of like before this, like a lot. I mean, my personal favorite, actually, Margot Qualley mentioned it, and I was like, damn, that's my favorite too. Is G.I. Jane. I always thought she was great in G.I. Jane. Like that's a Ridley Scott movie, and I always really liked that movie.
Classic.
Yeah, she was great in that movie. But I think this is top 3 Demi for sure.
When's the last time she's made a movie?
That's what I was thinking.
I'm sure it's probably like
right?
2000s sometime.
Long time ago.
I'll load it up. I'll find out. But yeah, this is, I don't know, like, would we say this is sort of one of those, like, almost in a way, like, meta movies where kind of reflective of people's own career? How has maybe has she kind of been cast aside for her age? Or
For
is
sure.
this kind of just one of those
Definitely.
things?
Absolutely.
Every actress of that
Very,
age
it's
really
very,
does.
like, could be reflective a bit of her
And
career.
like, wasn't she known for having like getting work done?
I think she got work done for striptease back in the day.
Yeah, that was like a thing.
Yeah.
So I think definitely she is.
But Demi
a bit
Moore,
meta.
especially back in the day, was goddamn gorgeous. Like her face was her best
Yeah.
her best feature. You know what I mean? She's a good actor too.
Even in this movie, I think she's still
hot as fuck. Yeah.
pretty hot.
The last movie she was in was Unbearable Weight of Massive Kindness. She was
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
She was that. She was like the fake movie star wife. She was the movie star in the movie. The movie in the movie.
So this movie,
Yeah.
So I walked in late to this movie the first time, not super late, but I walked in when it started with her working out, and she was like, "Welcome,
damn.
I'm Sparkle." So when I went in this time, and I saw the beginning,
missed
I
the
was like,
beginning.
"Oh, okay."
It tells
this
the whole
makes,
story in the
This makes
beginning.
way more sense. So let's get into
Yeah.
it then. Go ahead. What happens? Open it up,
Well,
Anthony.
the very first shot is like this overhead egg shot, which I think that sets the tone for the whole movie. It's like this is weird.
It
It set-
explains the whole movie in one shot.
Yeah, it's but like the color, the shots, the sound, and then obviously it injects into the yolk of the it's like an egg cracked on a blue
Skillet or
counter, and a needle comes in, injects it,
A
and
green
then
substance.
comes out, and the yolk duplicates.
Yeah.
Clones.
You got
itself.
2 eggs now.
2 eggs. Boom. That's it. And then it cuts to them making her star, which again explains the whole thing. It's brand new.
She's an actress.
So she's an actress. She's it's like the Hollywood Walk of Fame star that they're making, which it's like a hyper realistic alternate universe Hollywood, right?
Yeah. Well, that's another thing
we would say it's not like actual. This is not. I think even this sets up the fact that we're not in the real world.
I think another thing that I realized this go around that I didn't realize the fall the first time is it takes place. I think it's a period piece. I saw a landline. I saw a pager. I saw a clock radio.
Yes.
I saw a fucking.
But they also have iPhones and
Well,
modern day cars.
Well,
and
that's what I
flat
think is
screen
going
TVs.
to what you just said. I think it's a made up place. You know what I mean? I don't think it's real. Also, it's all shot in France.
Yes.
Every bit of it was shot in France, which is crazy.
But yeah, I even noticed like she makes a phone call and it has the ringing is the European ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the American.
You know what else that I noticed the second time around? All the locks. Those are not American locks.
Yes,
on the
you're
doors.
right.
Oh
Yeah,
I was almost thinking that was just a design,
Yeah.
but now that I think that was all of the doors. Yeah,
Yeah, those
right.
are just like European style
how
locks.
they,
I
how they
imagine.
do it.
But the movie definitely is supposed to take place in California. Like she says it when he gives her address, and on the license
Well,
plate.
she
of
never.
Mustang.
They never say. Do
The
they
last
say
day on the Mustang said
California?
2024 too. I think.
Yes. Oh, did it? I didn't see that. I saw it say California though.
It said
Did it say
February
California?
2020. It's 2000 and I think 20.
I didn't see that
something.
word.
Because everything is just like hyper realistic. Everything is like
Yes.
laid up. Everything. It's almost to a point of like satire and in times at
And the
times.
music starts like that as well. It's very stylized, very intense, very in your face, very dramatic.
So
keep
it's
going.
them making the star. They're making the star, her star, Hollywood star fame. And then at first it's brand new. She comes and she's taking pictures with it. Everybody loves her. You know what they say a lot that made me laugh, Jake, is they said, "I love you, Elizabeth." And that made me laugh all the time because of that's like what's his name, Macho Man, Randy Savage.
yeah.
I love you, Elizabeth. It's brand new. It's sparkly. Her name's Elizabeth Sparkle. People at first, people are walking around it, stopping to take pictures with it. Then people are kind of like, no more. And, we're seeing a montage over time. It's just that,
and this is all just an overhead shot
single,
of just yeah. You don't see anyone's faces, just people walking around it, doing stuff
they
with it.
did that. Now that I think about it, I wonder if they did that. They must have just
they probably just made the concrete as big as they
scenes.
had in the shot and had people walk around through it.
Yeah, I know, but like I don't know, did they do something crazy like do all that live, or was they? But probably not. They just shot all that and then montaged it all together.
Oh, you're saying like did they go out there, make it dried, and then people walked over it? Is that what you're saying? Like in a real place?
That montage we saw. I don't know. I'm just making shit up because of maybe
Cause
it seems like something she might do because of the way filmmaker she is.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're seeing a
Cool to see the behind
montage
the
of
scenes.
this. What'd you say, Jake?
It'd be cool to see some behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Just the prosthetics alone. Anyway, we're seeing the whole timeline take place. If the star goes from beautiful and sparkly, and everyone's taking pictures. And then eventually, over this montage, it's cracked, it's weathered, it's broken. People are walking over it, people are spilling shit on it and not caring about it. And it's very poignant. The last thing that we see is somebody drop like a hamburger on there and ketchup all over it.
Onions.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, it was gross.
But like, I don't know. That was like, you see that and you're just like, all right,
Okay.
this ain't gonna end well. Like this is foreshadowing for sure.
Well, also it tells you right away like what this is about, like in a very cool and interesting way. Like it's a bunch of it took away like 15 pages of dialogue that needed and just showed it in like 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. I love that. And then it just goes to her working out, right?
It cuts to her like working out.
Yeah.
Obvious. It's like a aerobics class, right? Like an 80s style aerobics class.
Every morning it's on for an hour. That's how they say that.
Yeah. What
What? So just to be more, she's the star of this TV show, Elizabeth Sparkle. It's a morning workout show, and she goes to he sets it up. This is the way she shoots the cameras is pretty cool too. The way she does like the zooms into the lenses and shit like that. It's very stylized. Like she's a very stylized movie, which is fun.
Through the gaze. It's all through. I mean, it's like the whole thing's through the male gaze. She says that in a couple of interviews. Like obviously that's what we're seeing. And
you're saying all those dudes were gays?
Yeah, they were male gaze.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway, so
it also the way he was shooting it looked like it was his dick that he was looking at.
It kind of did, yeah.
Maybe that was me. Maybe I'm gay.
So it cuts. Her show ends. Her workout show ends, and everyone's like, "Oh, have a good day, blah blah. It's all great." Everybody loves her. She walks out into this big, huge hallway. It's where you start to see like the really wide lenses being used, and this huge orange hallway. And her pictures are on the wall. Like you see that she's been a famous person for many years because one of them is from probably like 20 years ago, and everyone like loves her. They're all telling her happy birthday. Everyone's wishing her happy birthday.
These shots are, especially that first one, are probably the most Kubrick, non-Kubrick shots. That was the first thing I noticed was like.
I was thinking before what filmmakers I would say that she is, and to me, it's Cronenberg, Aronofsky, and Stanley Kubrick. Those are the three I think she really takes from in her shit. The editing of Aronofsky, the grossness of Cronenberg, and the preciseness and like plotted outness of Kubrick, you know.
Felt some Lynch in there too. I agree with all those that you said, but
yeah, Lynch works because it's surreal, just very surreal.
The weirdness of it all, like the ending, kind of reminded me of like this is maybe how fucking Lynch would end a movie. But
sure,
go on.
I agree. The very Lynchian ending,
like the comedy of it, kind of.
The movie was hilarious.
Tim Burton-y to me.
Sure.
In
like Edward Scissorhands or something.
It felt that kind of vibe when it came to the comedy for sure.
Yeah. The thing about the comedy is it wasn't like it was set up jokes. You were laughing at what was happening, the absurdity of it all.
When did you realize it was a comedy? How deep in the movie before
I think as soon as I saw Dennis Quaid, I knew, to be honest.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be a comedy. I just knew it was going to be a dark comedy. Like there was going to be funniness in it. Actually, you want to hear something crazy? Her neighbor, the weird guy, the guy who's trying to like bang her, that dude was in my movie, Welcome Home. His name's Gore Abrams. He played a key character in my movie. How cool is that? I saw him and I was like, holy shit.
I knew that. I've seen your movie.
I was like, holy shit. That's Gore. That's wild. It was pretty funny. He
sucked.
Yeah, well, he was great. He was funny, he was he was a shitty character. Yeah. Anyway, back to the movie. I just thought that was funny.
It took. I mean, I was definitely, there was a few parts where I chuckled a little bit toward the beginning, but it was kind of deep in. I think it was. Specifically when she was when it's like the second time she switched and she is looking for the hollow spot in the wall, and then that montage of her, like that, I was literally I laughed out loud. I was like, okay. Yeah. I was like, all right, this movie's insane. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, that part made zero sense. That made zero sense.
And that did lead to the neighbor because it was like the renovation.
That's right.
And then that whole scene was like, this is just fucking goofy.
From that point on, I think I had a smile on my face the whole time. I was like, this is hilarious. This is insane and hilarious.
Do you know what I kind of compare this to now that I'm thinking about it? It's less funny outrightly, but it could still work is like Austin Powers. It's like a less funny Austin Powers because Austin Powers is insane. The situations they're in, the things they're saying, like it's just crazy. And like for some reason, like I don't know. This reminds me of that in a way. Not like for the funniness of the way it's delivered, but just the world it sets up. It's like it's so different. Anyways,
Death Becomes Her was another one that kind of
Death Becomes Her for sure. Yeah, that's true. This probably has a lot of influence. That's another heavy prosthetic movie we didn't name. That's one of the best ones.
Right.
Also, Robert Zemeckis.
I felt Carrie, especially toward the end.
Carrie, sure.
Yeah,
Kind of like Carrie.
Of course, that part, yeah.
Definitely felt like this movie was made by someone who loves movies. Same way I felt by watching Strange Darling. I was like, these people really like doing this. Like, there a lot of influences are in this movie
too.
Yes.
Mostly fucked up.
It,
for sure.
Definitely reminded me of a lot of great directors and a lot of great movies. So that's a good thing, I think.
So she's trying to go. So you see that she's very popular, been popular for a long time. She's like a daytime TV celebrity. She goes to the bathroom. It's broken. She goes into the male bathroom. She walks in, goes into a private stall, and then right away, Dennis Quaid walks in, and you see that he's wearing this like really ridiculous suit. Looks like he's just a fuck boy, if you want to use modern day slang. And he's talking like his name's like Harvey, by the way. You know that, right? His name's Harvey. So they were definitely playing on Weinstein.
Oh, that's
his name was Harvey. He's talking on the phone. He's basically saying loudly and disrespectfully, this fucking bitch is 50 years old. She's fucking washed up, has been. I don't know how she's lasted this long. We need to get some fresh fucking ass in here. Like, fire this bitch, blah, blah, blah. Find me someone new. Demi Moore hears this, and then you realize, oh yeah, it's her birthday. I wonder how old she is. Cut to a shrimp scene where they're in a fancy restaurant, and you find out she just turned 50 years old. And he's
all you're seeing though. Oh,
Dennis Quaid. Yeah. So how describe it? Jake, describe us what we see. Vegan Jake, describe us what we see.
Fucking like sucking on fucking shrimp and dipping them into fucking butter sauce.
What is he dipping him into?
What the fuck? Out shit,
it's just
like,
the most disgusting.
It was gross.
What he was
spitting
doing.
tails. There's just tails all over the fucking table.
Heads all over the place.
He's also
like,
just talking the whole time. So it's like
fucking fingers, like
gross.
And then he sees his
It's
homie. He's
beautiful.
like, Dick, what's up, buddy? You're a genius. I gotta go.
Well, yeah, because he's basically just spewing nonsense the whole time.
Yeah,
just
right.
saying,
He's telling her how she's washed up and she's a has been.
Yeah.
She's
and
old
then
now.
he says, you know, once you're 50, you know, it all ends.
She goes, and she goes, what ends? And he goes, goes like that. He meant the Ferris wheel or the spinning, whatever that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When they say like the ride ends or whatever.
He didn't even remember what he was talking about. He knew what he was meant, and he didn't want to say it. That's when he saw old Dick across the way.
Yo, my favorite thing I thought of when I was watching this scene was I pay extra to have those heads taken off if they're delivered to my table. And this guy's that's the European way though, because when you order shrimp in Europe, there's heads on no matter what. No matter what.
I mean, that's how you eat them.
I mean, I like to eat them without the heads on, to be honest.
It's just, more.
It was bad. It was probably the most. It was probably like the second or third most disgusting thing that happened in this movie.
Did we talk about the most
That's
disgusting
fair.
part yet that we all thought, or no?
Is it no?
No,
Okay.
no, yeah.
Let's go through it a little
think I
bit.
got
All
mine
right.
too.
So
Let's
sure.
get
So
Let's get to more parts.
So
yeah,
this
he
part,
avoids the conversation. Also, right after that, in my head, he was like patting the dude's back. I mean, this has nothing to do with the story. But I was just like,
gross.
His hands. Anyway,
he didn't even wash his hands when he went to the bathroom either.
that's true.
Yeah,
But who does these days?
I do.
Modern day penises are clean.
Not yours.
So
Chicken
she
fucker.
leaves. She leaves the restaurant. Not very happy. Gets in her car and car crash.
Yeah. Great fucking shot of a car crash. I've been in 2 major car crashes and it was done really well.
Dude's a
Speaking
expert
of
over here.
experience,
I have experience. Look at it right here.
So she's driving, and
You're a monster.
right after this conversation of him telling her she's washed up, she's driving, sees her billboard up
being
on
torn
the
down. I
screen
laughed
being
out loud
torn
right there
down.
too. Because you don't expect her to get hit with the car. And I laughed out as it was getting torn down. She was like, and I laughed, and then boom, she gets back car. I was like, oh my God.
She's in the hospital. Nothing happened to her. She's fine. But or
She's
maybe
distraught.
maybe this is just where everything. Maybe she dies right here, and from now on, it's a dream. Do you ever think
Could
of
be.
that?
Who knows? Could be.
Yeah,
I don't think so because I
that's
think
stupid to even
they
think
would have went
about.
back to it. But you can think that if you want. If you want to be narrow-minded, you can
You want
think
to
that.
think if you want to be a retard, you can.
Whoa. Take that back.
No. Let's see that in super slow mo. She's at the doctor's office. She's fine. The doctor's like, no broken bones. Oh, happy birthday. And she starts bawling.
Yeah.
And so, like, all the other dudes, he's like, well, I gotta go. See ya.
His like apprentice.
Super handsome, like Zoolander-esque human being.
Ice blue eyes.
Yeah,
like fucking
nurse.
Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, like almost a Skarsgård look. He says she's fine, good to go, and then he comes back and he's like, "Hold on one second, let me just check one thing." And he's like checking her spine, and
Which the
like,
first time I
yeah.
didn't put these two things together, and this time I was watching, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is gross."
And then and he's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, you're a good candidate." And then he hands her a jacket. In the jacket pocket, she pulls out a little thumb drive that says
The substance.
The substance. And
Yeah.
what does the paper say? That he writes on a note. He said it
changed my life. Yeah.
Which is like, all right, hopefully that's for the better.
Yeah.
He's handsome, so
Yeah.
she goes home, watches it, and
Well, we should introduce her house too. Did we?
All right.
Because her house is pretty crazy. She lives in this like loft. Well, not loft, I guess. She lives in this apartment that's a giant, big living room, a tiny kitchen, but where one wall is a fucking glass window that overlooks downtown and the valley, and it's like basically the hills like on crack. It's just like the best view of LA.
it's
you
like
could
an
have.
endless view.
Yeah, it looks like a utopia or something. And there's a billboard. Another thing that makes it weird. There's a billboard like 200 feet from her house that just has her picture.
It's
on
kind of
it.
just narrates what's going on.
Yeah,
in the movie.
yeah.
Well, the billboard's only there when Sue
It
comes
needs
in.
to
It's
aid the
it's
plot.
not there at first.
Oh,
It's not.
I don't think so. It's not. No,
Oh,
it's just a view, and the billboard comes in.
Okay.
copy. That makes way more sense, and it's way
yeah.
cooler now.
I only remember seeing it when Sue was on.
Okay,
it.
that's
Yeah.
cooler. I guess I didn't realize. I thought her picture was up there for some reason.
It was a different billboard that we saw getting ripped down. But
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
that's
that
probably what it was.
billboard.
Cool. That
Oh,
makes
it
way
was.
more sense. That makes way more sense. I mean, it
So-
doesn't in real life, but in the story of this movie, it makes more sense.
But that's just it
Yeah.
goes. It's
Yeah.
another thing in the belt. That's like this is we're in a fantasy world. We're in a parallel universe to Earth, if you want to call it that. But it's a fantasy world we're living in. This is just
It's like any Tarantino movie.
yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna start timing you, but by the like how long it takes you to compare movies to Tarantino.
Thing about Tarantino is, bro, is he makes things that everybody likes and he steals everything. So everybody's gonna steal from him and inadvertently. That's how it
I
works.
didn't think this one was gonna go with Tarantino-ish, but I guess.
Oh,
here we go.
I mean, Tarantino's an
throw-
auteur. This chick is an auteur. She makes movies to where you know it's her. Like her first movie, Revenge, not as good as this, but it was just as bloody, just as gross, just wasn't as cool of a subject. But it was. You can see she has a fucking.
I saw
She
it.
has a style. Yeah, you can see
You
she
gotta
has a
tell me your
style.
opinion on it because I got my own dog.
Tell
Cool.
me.
That's good.
What's your opinion on our first movie? I didn't see it.
It was pretty good.
It's good.
Same as Schwartz's.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's
fine.
good. It's
It was
above
fine.
average.
Yeah,
It's
it was-
above average, and
was-
it was the parts that had to hit hard. It just didn't. What you could tell is that the reason why I say you should watch it, Anthony, is because if you watch that movie and watch this, she's come like her progression as a filmmaker is just insanely prevalent. And I was like, damn, like that's pretty awesome to go because her first movie, like I said, above average movie. If I would recommend it, but like this movie hits way fucking harder. Like it's in every way, just every aspect of the filmmaking is way better than the first one.
She's good with visual storytelling because,
Yes, she is.
like this one, the main character in Revenge was alone a lot,
Yes.
and she's good with like writing characters by themselves, which I think is probably
All the characters in that
well
movie were
to do.
alone a lot. All 4 characters in that movie.
How was the acting in it?
Good.
that's the thing. Everyone was pretty like non-professional actors, like they were.
It was a
wasn't
low
anyone, like-
budget film.
It was had a
'Cause these
yeah.
two,
a lot more low budget. It looked really good for probably the budget that it had.
Yeah.
Like cinematography wise, it was good visually, but it was like very like a simple plot. kind of
Yeah,
not the
well,
best actors, but
It's just
this
about
one,
a. Sorry.
it definitely got, Schwartz, you want to go ahead and talk? Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just getting excited.
Well, these two can hold a scene that by themselves. Like these
Much
two,
better
yeah,
actors.
Right.
Much
they're
better
great.
actors. Yeah.
And
much
she's a
better.
good she's good with directing that, it seems, based off
Yes.
her other movie. But yeah, for sure, both of these main
Cool.
characters for sure could.
Yeah.
Shout out to Revenge.
So where were we? Where were we in the pod?
She watches she's watching the video. The video
Oh, this is-
explains.
Wait, before you say this is also the first time I ever saw someone in a movie plug in a thumb drive to a TV. I've never seen that in a movie before. I was like, damn, she's plugging in the TV. Usually it's a computer or a computer. You know what I mean?
This ain't the real world, bro.
Never seen the TV. You know what I mean?
It's just
I've
there's a
never
lot
even
of
done that.
things that I mean that works, but like everything just works in the. It's
Yeah.
not like she's
Yeah.
trying to figure something out. It's not like she's got to jostle. Like things have to be jostled. Like everything. Like it's just gotta. We're in a fantasy world. Suspend
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
I
to
did-
say
it
that that's a weird thing.
there wasn't
It was just interesting.
instructions.
It
There
was
wasn't
just interesting.
instructions on the substance stuff. They just kind of did it.
What I liked about the substance, the video, is it was the thing they showed in the trailer of the movie, where like it introduced like every aspect of it, and specifically in order. And I was like, oh, that's dope that they did in this movie. Like it worked really well for that. The video
Yeah.
when she watches it.
When it
The video's
explain,
like, "Doo, doo, doo,
Yeah,
doo.
it's really
You
cool.
want to be younger?
Yeah,
You wanna
really
be
punk rock.
sexy? You want to be a better version of yourself?
mm, mm,
Doo,
mm.
doo, doo, doo.
It had the clay. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
Had
Yeah, that's right.
so it explains.
You,
Basically, it explains. Yeah. Sorry.
you are
go
one.
ahead.
I don't remember the exact words, but
He's like, you're the Matrix.
doo,
And then it pulls the
doo,
clay,
doo, doo,
makes the clay like really nice clay. He's like, it all comes from you. It's all the same. You are one, but it's a better you or whatever.
Basically, you take a shot and
never forget.
it produces a better you, better version of you in every way. But you are both one, and they remind you that all the time. You're the same person. You just get to experience life separately. And every 7 days,
Well,
it
explain
switches.
all that.
Yes, it does. It says that. It says every 7 days you each get to live your life, and while the other one doesn't. It says that when that moment.
Oh, okay.
Your other self.
Yeah,
They call
your
it
better
the
self. And then
other self.
and then it says call, and then she watches it, and then she calls the number, and he says, "What's your address?" He answers the phone.
Well,
and
she
he-
doesn't.
well,
She
first
throws it
she's-
away at first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And then she goes to a bar, gets drunk, gets sad, and then pulls it out.
yeah.
Because no one hit on her.
You know what I realized about the
Yo.
second time around too? I think there's only like 9 different locations in this movie, maybe less, which is pretty interesting. I think it's like literally like mostly takes place in like 3 locations, which is like the studio, her apartment, and the bathroom. Those
Yeah.
are like the 3 main locations in this movie.
Well,
Everything
and
else,
not-
there's like, what's up?
I was gonna say not to compare it to yet another movie, but I thought Groundhog's Day was
Sure.
is relevant in that it's all. I mean, just the way it's shot. Even meeting that guy was so Groundhog's Day of the.
In the
Right,
restaurant?
you're totally right.
yeah,
Yeah.
her old friend. Hey, it's me. Like that. scene.
And now she's always walking to get it at the fucking
Yeah, she's
thing.
going.
Yeah.
It's the same shot in the shower, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought I think mostly that dude reminded me of that. But yeah, it's definitely it's the same locations, just all shot. It's like same scenes shot over and over again, slightly differently.
Yeah. So,
She calls the number. He gives her an address.
Yes.
And again, it's just kind of things are. She just goes there. She has a card. She scans it. It opens halfway. She just goes under it, and then
Grimy ass
it's like
alley.
a super gross, super dilapidated, trash everywhere. But then she like goes down the hallway, turns right, and it's super like
Clean
medical
lockers.
or whatever. Yeah, Amazon lockers. There's
well,
two.
hold on. Before that, when she goes into the alley, there's like what kind of door was that? Is that like aluminum?
It's like a
or-
roll up
Yeah.
What is
roll
that
up
made
door.
of? Metal?
metal.
It's like a
Sure.
metal door, and she it looks
Yeah.
like a dilapidated place, and then she takes her card, and there's like on the wall is like a key card scanner, and she
It's all
scanned
the
it, and it
same.
only-
It's all the same logo she sees
Yeah.
everywhere. That's how she's kind of finding everywhere. These double D logo.
yeah, and then the thing on the door only opens like 1/3 of the way, which is hilarious, and then she's got to go underneath, and like you said, she goes in, and then it's just like very 2001-y kind of locker situation,
Yeah,
and she presses her 503 and matches
There's
up, and
like
it opens it up.
20 lockers. Only two
Yeah.
of them have numbers on it. There's another number on there, but then she's 503. Opens it up, gets a box, takes it home, opens it up, and then
Explains everything. Which when
inside
I was
is the
watching it the
substance.
second time, I was like, this is the scene where I feel like she had to do the most with the explaining, because this whole thing of like the way the food, the way the amount of time, how she shows how it gets injected and taken from the people, and the parts where she, in my opinion, the grossest part of this movie, I was gonna say now, is when she does the ejections. That is hands down the grossest parts of this movie. Like in the end when it goes into like the boiled
When
up
she's
fucking
taking,
pimply one, and
yeah.
yeah, and then it's the bruised one. I literally
Oh,
was like,
So
yeah.
oh
yeah.
my god, that to me is the grossest part of this
You
movie
got all
by far.
pussy.
So
Yeah,
in the
that was
you
horrible.
got a pussy. So in the in the box, it has the what's the first one? It has stage one, the activator.
Yeah.
Yep,
And it's
which
like
is a
this
green
neon
serum.
green, yeah,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
comes with a thing, and it
Single
says,
use only.
Single use only.
single use only. You only
Yeah.
do this once.
Yep.
And then she opens
Dispose
up, and
after
then number
use.
2, she has the
Stabilizer.
stabilizer.
Yep.
And it said-
Stabilize every day.
and it says you stabilize every day. And then number 3, and you're saying this is where, because those cards explain it. Here's the thing: is they explain enough. They didn't explain. They
Right.
don't explain everything. It's not like well, the first time, and then the third one is switch, which is just a tube that you will switch.
Yes.
You switch blood
What I liked about it is
The
when
food, too.
it happens,
and the food.
Margot Qualley's character, she automatically knows what to do with everything. I thought that was pretty
That's
cool.
and yeah,
And I thought,
that's what I'm
like,
saying is
I
they
thought
just
that was
explain
dope.
enough,
Yeah.
because the first time she needs to stabilize. So let's get there. She she does it. She pulls the injector or the activator, injects herself with
Stabs
the
it.
activator.
Yeah.
And then she kind of goes real wobbly. We see, which is a really cool way of doing everything.
Yeah.
She just slams on the ground. Everything,
Yeah,
every
that's
all
where the
these
shit happens with her pupils.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we zoom in on her pupils, and her pupils like
Separate
do
like the
six,
egg.
just like the egg. Now there's 2,
Yep.
and then so basically she's replicating. We see her back then start to open up, and we
Well,
see
before we see that, we see under her skin and her back, like
Yeah.
something's like poking up and like going
Shit's
through her, like a
happening.
snake in her
Thing-
back or something.
there's something is being made. Her duplicate is being made inside her.
And all of a
And
sudden, her back splits
What do you think
open.
about it coming out of her back?
I was fine with that.
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like that's
That's
an
the first
interesting
time I
way to
went.
go.
That's the first time I went Cronenberg. That's just
Yeah.
a Cronenberg
Yeah.
thing to do.
Reminded me of
Weird. It was
American Werewolf
strange.
in London.
100%. Yeah. Or The Thing.
Yeah.
And then in
Or-
Video
or
Drone,
Quentin
like there's a
Tarantino.
bunch
No,
of
I'm just kidding.
in Video Drone, there's a bunch of like shit like that with like body stuff where like he has a hole in his whole stomach and he like it's pretty gross.
So
And then in Naked Lunch, there's all kinds of crazy shit like that too.
a Margot Qualley comes out of
Yes.
her back.
Yeah, all sticky, and I
Margaret
like the way
Qualley.
the sound design is here too. It sounds like
Yeah.
she's just like being born
Sounds
or
like
something.
Yeah, exactly. Underwater almost. It sound
Yeah.
It was very like it's like her first time she's using her ears. That's kind of what I was getting at. Her first time she was
Yeah.
seeing, like everything was kind of
Yep.
acclimating, and
Yeah.
and it's all point of view at this point. We see her stand up POV. We see the what's her name, Demi Moore, fucked up on the ground, back just wide open. She looks in the mirror. It's foggy, classic. She undoes the mirror, or a little wipe off, and it's just gorgeous Margaret Qualley. And
Yeah,
she's
definition
just,
of beauty in this movie. You know
She's
what I mean?
stoked. She's like
Yeah.
kind of stoked on this whole situation. So a better version of her, younger, better version of her came out. It isn't her, but it's a different her.
It's the green stuff mixed with her body producing something.
like it's not exact clone, but what did you think about that? It just being like a hot, like what the
At this point, that does not matter what happens. Whatever happens, happens. Like what I mean is I didn't have like a negative or a positive
Yeah.
about it. It just
You're
whatever
right.
was
I
gonna
wasn't
happen was
really
gonna
thinking about
happen.
that. It's just
You know what I
interesting. It's because it seemed like it would clone her, but it didn't clone her. It just made her Margaret Qualley. But you're right. At this point, just wild shit's going down.
Yeah.
And it seems a little unclear because I feel like maybe it starts this way and then changes. Is she in like mentally? She's now seeing the world as Margaret Qualley, right? She like Demi Moore, like
Yes.
Elizabeth is in this girl's mind, right?
Wait, you're saying that every time she's Sue, Demi Moore still sees what happens.
Like she's living
They are
as
Is that what it is?
body.
They are one. Yes. The
Oh,
consciousness.
shit. So she's
just-
living 2 lives.
Yes. The
Oh, that's
consciousness
sick.
just goes back and forth between the two.
So
That's when they
Sue
switch.
also lives
Okay.
her life too. Sue
They-
also lives the other one.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
100%.
They are one.
So they
are one.
do get to live both.
That's
lives.
what the switch is.
She's just faking it.
Yo,
to-
this movie could have been so different too, in that like they could have like both like teamed up to create like 2 perfect lives, and it could have went so different. That's why I say like there's a lot of subtext to this movie and a lot of things that this movie is about, but it's told in such an interesting and like surreal way that's why it's so good. Like that's what makes this movie great.
Well,
is
yeah.
that.
But
You know what I
that's the
mean?
whole point of the movie is that they
Yeah,
are
it's
one.
it. Yeah,
But
but I
that's-
just
that's what
didn't
was-
think about that for some reason, that they
Well,
would see it when they weren't there. I didn't think about that.
They're not
that's
seeing it.
interesting,
They are
'cause when
living
when
through
I-
each other.
Yeah.
There's only
get it.
one
I get
conscious.
it.
There's only one thing.
But they're
that's going.
living both lives, is what I'm saying. I didn't think
But it
about that.
feels like it's split a little bit toward the end. There.
At the end, yes, when she like half kills her, yeah.
Okay. It wasn't
how do you
earlier
explain
on
that then?
because they start like hating each
It
other, which is
switches.
interesting because that's a,
Or
like
it separates.
it's just but it
there's no explaining anything. There's no
No, yeah,
explaining, nor is
yeah.
there need to, which is
Yeah.
what like coming up here. But yeah, that from my understanding and through like I think that's what it's supposed to be is she like what came out of her back is her. It's just now in this body, and then every
I guess
7 days she has to switch to. The
I guess what
OG.
really cements your point right there is in the end when she decides to offer, but then she's sad about it because she's like you're the only thing I live for. So that maybe that's really you're right, because she experiences her life too.
I don't think maybe I'm right. I think that's the whole point.
No,
of the
for
movie.
sure. No, you're right. I don't know why I said maybe. I
and
think.
Monstros
maybe
is-
out of your
and
mouth.
Monstros both of them.
Oh my god,
and
Monstro,
Monstro's
Shoe
both-
Elizabeth or whatever, Elizashoe, Monstro Elizashoe. That was hilarious. That was so funny. Anyway, let's wait
So,
until
yeah.
we get
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Margaret Qualley. And then this is where it comes like this is kind of what I was talking about enough being explained and not nothing really needs to be explained, because immediately she like knows that she needs to sew her up, so she like knows how to do that, and then the next day because the pack, like the stabilizer pack, is just like kind of a bunch of shit that I would not know how to use if I was just given that. I wouldn't know what to do with that. But the next day, as she's supposed to stabilize, what happened? She like starts bleeding. Her nose starts bleeding. Her ears start bleeding. The sound, we hear that sound kind of wah wah come back to us, like we're underwater again, or like we're trapped by something. And so she's got a
so gross.
yeah.
Do this is so gross.
So
She
she's
fucking
gotta
needles
stabilize.
the back. Yeah.
So she
Also, when she's first born or whatever, every time she like flicks her hair, like back and forth, you hear like it's all it's so disgusting. This whole movie is just
The
slimy.
sound is-
Like it's
the sound-
disgusting.
So
This-
it's so unsettling.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable.
It's great.
But what Jake, you were saying this. It's not that the sound is great. It's just how they used it. But I think I don't know. I think it's a way. I don't know.
Well, I think
in a sense of it was exaggerated. Like it's just
Yeah.
heightened. It's not like exactly like
it's
your
like it's
typical
like in,
sound design.
it's not like they just turned it up though. Like it was.
Yeah.
No, it's part of her arsenal. Like I said, that's what she
100%, yeah.
does. Even in Revenge, like every time there was something gross, it still made these types of sounds. Like it did that too. Like she likes that. That's why
Not
it's
a
like her thing.
juicy sounds.
Yeah, that's her thing for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not saying it's not bad. It's just like exaggerated grossness. It's just
Yeah.
you know,
So
Exaggerated sounds used in a lot of great movies.
yeah, true. More than
she needs to stabilize, which means she takes a fucking 9-inch needle, sticks it in the still
hole.
sutured back.
Oh.
Well, no, the back's like still cut in half. So she sticks it like right in one of the stitches.
Holes. Yeah.
Just
Oh.
gross.
That was
Right in
the first
spine,
one.
all the way in the spine,
Oh.
and then extracts the juice from the spine juice. I
7
guess.
days worth.
7 days worth. It fills up 7 little vials. She damn, why does she know how to do this? I don't know. What I kept thinking is, why do they just leave them on the ground? Why like in the bathroom? Why don't they put them in they never figure out a bed situation. She ends up just putting her in a closet.
Well, they kind of start taking care of her at the beginning, like she props her head up a little bit, like earlier on, like about a week into it, and then she like when she goes back to being the old version. She like kind of brushes the girl's hair back, but yeah, later she just kind of throws her in the fucking closet, like the renovated closet of the bathroom, and like this weird dark under the skin reminiscent void.
So we see her stabilize the first time, and then it cuts to her just like doing yoga in the living room in front of her giant window overlooking
Looking
whatever.
sexy as fuck.
Just looking sexy as fuck. So like that did something, you know, she's a new girl.
Revitalize this.
Yeah.
Fresh.
So while she's doing
Doesn't
yoga,
Dennis Quaid say that to her? Until where he's like, "You're so fresh. They're gonna love that."
she
Fresh.
Yeah.
Maybe he did.
she sees she early on, right before we kind of missed this part where Demi Moore was looking through the newspaper and sees that they are literally replacing her. This is like right after her birthday. Literally looking for the new Elizabeth Sparkle. Are you saying something, Schwartz?
Keep going before we cut you off.
Can you hear me?
Damn it, he's back.
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Literally looking for it. So she throws that in the trash can. So while the next day she's Margaret now. She sees that she's going out. She puts her clothes on, which I mean, I guess what else is she gonna do? But like
The yellow jacket. That's like they're both their outfit when they go out, which is very Dario Argento, very homage Dario Argento.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was an ode to the Showtime show.
What's the Showtime show?
Yellow Jackets.
No, I don't think so.
Great show.
Great show, but I don't think so.
And it's about future and past lady, you know, whatever.
No, I don't think
Saying
so.
there's parallels,
wow.
just
Man,
saying.
she loves Showtime too. That's
I'm
crazy.
pretty sure it's Dario Argento.
Hey, we'll never know.
Maybe Yellow Jackets is also a Dario Argento homage.
Maybe.
Anyway, she'll direct next season,
but not for long. She is classic. She walks by a store and she sees an outfit, puts it on, goes to the interview.
I love that she came up with the outfit too. Like she showed up and they're like, "All right, that's what we're going with." That's pretty cool.
It's true.
I thought that was
was
cool.
like what she wore the whole time, right?
Yeah. I thought that was dope.
cool.
The interview is kind of fun. It's like two dudes just sitting there, totally unamused by whatever they're seeing.
Oh yeah, they're making fun of him. They're like, "Oh, too bad her boobs were on her face, or her noses like that," saying shit like that.
Big nose.
Damn, which is also kind of foreshadowing.
Yes.
You would never think that.
Yeah.
All of her parts.
That is my second grossest scene in the movie is the tit in the end.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was funny.
That's
I
my
think that was
second
even that
grossest one.
gross.
That and the fucking the needle are top two in my opinion.
She gets the part. She's the new Sue, or she's the what they ask her. What is her name? She's Sue. Dennis
Quaid comes
Quaid
in,
meets her, loves her. She goes
acts like a complete scumbag. It's like, you're so fresh and he calls her a special little princess. He like says shit like that.
He's a creeper for sure.
He's a creeper.
He does
Harvey,
this a lot.
Yeah, he's a creeper. He's Harvey Weinstein.
Of the television network world, maybe.
Sure.
That's all unclear, but it doesn't matter. He's just a fucking weirdo.
Are you defending Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah.
Nope.
Why do you defend him?
I'm just
Harvey
saying
Weinstein apologist.
that we don't know what Quaid.
You're saying the fact that he's like a mogul,
it's just crazy.
trying to like get this girl because he's sexy and his name's Harvey isn't about Harvey Weinstein? Are you an asshole?
I never said that at all.
Yes, you just did. You're like, we don't know
not
for
say
sure.
that at all.
We don't know for sure. He never made a movie. He only
What
produces
the
TV.
fuck are you mad about?
He only makes TV.
I thought you were saying like we don't.
it's
I thought
weird.
you were defending Harvey Weinstein.
No,
You're weird.
I was saying he's like that, but of the TV world.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes
I
sense.
thought you were saying
enough.
what you said was, I don't know, maybe of the TV world if you want to say it. It's like, yeah, that's who they're talking about for sure.
Okay, I'm glad you got.
Why you denied it? That'd be like if I was like,
Don't deny it.
I'm not gonna
just
say anything.
I said something, then you just went on a rant about what I just said. All right,
hate
go.
you.
Okay, cool. That was cool.
Are you sad?
No,
Everybody cool? You guys
I'm
good?
cool.
Yeah.
Do I need to separate you? Technically, you're separated in my Zoom window. So, we need to reiterate the fact that she does have to switch every 7 days, and she tells him that, and he says, "I don't give a fuck. You're hot. You're the girl. You're the new one. You're gonna be in. It's gonna be great." So they shoot. She's got a new workout routine, a little different, a little updated.
sexier,
super sexier,
more intense.
just more modern. I'd say it's like a more
Super
modern,
intense.
Like, yeah, I'd be
The
sweating.
other one was very like low mode.
The other one
this
was like
is
for old ladies.
Yeah,
Just pump it up, dude.
Yeah.
You got to pump it up.
Got to pump
Yeah.
it up. That's her new phrase.
Is that even a thing now? Like the
Workout
famous
videos?
aerobics instructors? Like I know there's got to be
I think
like,
so. I think
but
for
are there like any
what's
like
the
really
Peloton?
famous ones?
Peloton has like instructors that people like.
Okay, but no
Like,
like
if you-
specific ones. Like Jane Fonda was one of them, but she was also an
I don't
actress.
know.
And like Richard Simmons. Remember?
You're
Richard
asking
Simmons?
two fat boys about
Yeah.
workout stuff.
I don't know if there's any famous. If that's still like a big thing. But go
You're a
on.
big thing.
Damn right.
That's why you don't know about the workout.
Yeah, but that's all they do. They just film her working out, and it's in like a really sexualized way, and it's
It remi-
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
It's super 80s. It gets
Yeah.
a super
Yeah, but
80s
it's just
thing. But this
it's
is updated.
close-ups of tits and ass.
I'm just saying the idea of
Thighs
like
and
working out,
shit.
dancing is a super 80s
Yeah.
idea. But yes,
It's great.
it is a new updated, super sexy, hyper sexy version of Elizabeth Sparkle. It's the new Elizabeth Sparkle. It's younger, it's better, it's sexier.
Yes,
Um,
very in your face.
sparklier.
And then that ends just like we saw the earlier one of Demi Moore ending, comes out into the same exact hallway, which we kind of passed that scene too, where she goes in the hallway and everything's gone, or they're taking
Everything's
down
gone.
her pictures.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we did.
Or does
Oh
that-
yeah, and that's when Dennis Quaid goes,
yeah,
like all the way down the hallway. He's like,
and
"You
walks all
are?"
the way down the
Yeah.
hall.
He's like and then he hands her like a box full of her shit. He's like then he goes in and digs for a present. He's like, we all chipped in, brought you this, so you have something to do. You're not bored. We just want to say thanks for all your service. We'll see you later. And then he walks away. It was great, hilarious scene.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So we see her come out. Sue comes out now into the
Yes.
hallway. Still empty, but she walks and there's one. There's one of her. She
Yep.
has started her career.
Stardom. She's a star.
She's started her stardom. What does she do for like the next 3 days? I think it's just she's like coming up with her. The first week is her like coming up with the dance moves, and we just see kind of a montage of that, right?
Yeah.
See a montage of that. We see her like take down the picture of Elizabeth in the living room. We see her billboard go up outside her window, which is her new show. We see her. So the neighbor,
That's
the first. So I guess she builds the secret room too.
So
She
yeah,
builds the room.
I think that's the second time they
Yeah,
switch.
yeah.
Oh, then what else happens the first time?
I think that's it. I think the billboard goes up and
She's starting to get famous.
she's starting to get famous.
Yeah.
We're just seeing that get famous, and then so she has to switch. First time, 7 days. You got to switch no matter what it says, and
Yep,
the
so it
switch
happens.
is her vein to vein.
Blood transfusion.
Blood, which is another great shot of the
Yeah.
blood just kind of going across. I love.
I
that.
like how they like lay on each other too. It's so like old painting, like old like Victorian
that
era
scene
painting.
of that
Yeah.
that first one. Yeah, she
Yeah.
like she had her, like,
She
her
just
arm
kinda-
around her.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
collapses on top of her.
Yeah. As soon as the blood hits, it's just an immediate transfer too.
Yeah. She like
Uh,
wakes up, like she snaps out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Demi Moore is awake. She's all fucked up a little bit. Her spine's all fucked up, obviously.
Yeah, she's in pain as
Yeah.
fuck. Yeah.
And again, she just leaves Margaret on the ground in the.
But
and
at
they
this
all-
point, you don't think about that because she's in shock, bro. What just happened?
yeah.
Like she's just like, fuck, you know?
I was thinking,
Yeah.
because she's still like proud of her creation of whatever
Yeah.
of what she did. So but it doesn't matter. It's better. It's better in the stark white. It's because it's all white tile bathroom. The bathroom's probably the biggest room in the apartment.
Yeah. The bedroom's the living room pretty huge too.
So what is so they switch. Why is she so mad? What happens in her week?
I don't know what bad things happen in the immediate first week. I don't really
I'm
remember.
trying to think.
I just know like
I
then
think
we get
she just-
introduced to her having to go back to the place. Like she's got to get refills of the thing.
Yeah, of the
every
food
time. So every
matrix
week
too.
she's got to go and get more.
But I
Yeah.
think it's that she starts to she sees who Sue is, and Sue rise to stardom, and she's
Yep.
kind of. It's like we don't know. Is she happy? But she's definitely envious. But she's happy because it is her, but it's not her right now. It's
Yeah.
I mean, this whole movie's about self hatred.
Yeah. and the way people are, especially specifically women, are treated when they hit a certain age. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Ozempic.
it's that, but it's like it's about how women treat themselves too.
True.
It's about
Yeah.
how, and it's about they are women, but like I treat myself the same, a lot of the same ways too. I'm not demonized or like thought of the aspect of the man's career versus woman's career is like obviously that was the point, but and that wouldn't affect. That's not what I'm talking about, but the how one treats themselves when they think about themselves in a certain way is definitely universal.
Right. But I think even
Yes.
especially more for women because they do hit a certain age
Sure,
where
whatever,
certain
dude.
things
I'm
don't
just saying
work and
it's something I can
certain things
empathize with.
change
Yes,
with
it's
like
more for
all
women.
that. But
If
yes,
you
I
just
know what
need
you're
me
saying.
to hear me
We
say
all have
that,
to do
yes,
that.
it's
Yes.
worse for women. But can I tell you how I empathize with it? Yes.
No.
You just did. We're good.
I am. Okay.
Take it. Edit that out.
So that is what that
Copy. Edit that
get
out.
that out of here. Check the time. Right. Tell him. But that is what happens to her in that time. Is she feels inadequate. She feels old. She feels like she's having the last of her stardom taken away, and she gets jealous.
That's when it all ends.
And then it switches back to Homegirl, and it basically just keeps showing how she's getting all these fucking things happen to her, and then it switches back to Demi Moore, and she starts like eating a bunch of junk food, not taking
Well,
care of
no.
herself.
So the second time she goes out, Sue goes out, and she comes back a little too late.
And she's
So
fucking this dude, and she doesn't
yeah,
care about what's
she
going on.
she starts she comes back. She's supposed to switch, but she's about to fuck this dude, and she starts bleeding. So she then takes a little more
Yeah, that's what
stabilizer
happens.
out. She
Which is
takes
the first
one
time
more
this
vial of
happens. Yeah.
stabilizer out. So basically, just like however just a couple hours too long, but she took more than she was supposed to. And then it's crazy like when that happens, then she has like these crazy dreams where she's banging the dude, he
Well,
unzips her back, and then all of her insides come out.
the funniest part is when she goes back out there after she injects it, he looks at her and goes,
Yep.
"Damn, you're even more beautiful than you were 5 minutes ago," whatever the fuck he says. And then she starts kissing him, and then, like you said, you realize that it's a dream when her back starts falling out of her little guts and shit.
Yeah, eventually we start seeing the dream. But
Yeah.
Demi wakes up now, she goes out, she sees the place is trashed, bottles, pizza, shit everywhere. And I love the storytelling with the helmet, the visual storytelling with the helmet. I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Isn't this
guy,
also her fingers fucked up here too already?
yeah, so the guy
Yeah.
left his helmet there. It has a note on the window, says,
yeah.
"I'll come back to get it." She reaches up for that, and
Sees
she
it.
sees that her finger's fucked up. So
Which
Uh,
now that I just fucked up that reveal you were trying to have, I just realized how great a reveal that was in the movie. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, that was a great reveal.
she's got
The
like
way,
a
like you
witch
said,
finger.
the helmet being there and the fact that the note was on top of the helmet and she had to reach up to catch, like, great
Yeah.
storytelling. Great fucking storytelling.
And the helmet coming back later, just
Yeah.
knowing, just like it's just great.
Yeah,
This,
it's really good.
The visuals are great in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so her extended time in as Sue has had effects on her as what's her name, Elizabeth. In which she calls the place, right? She calls the place, and she's like, "Yo, she got a little too drunk, and she now I have a fucked up whatever. Like,
Can
how
I
do
get it back?
Yeah, she's like, "How do I reverse that?" And he's like, "There's no reversing what has been done." And she's like, "Yeah, but she's doing," and he's like, "Just remember, there is no she. There's only you." And then he fucking
You are one.
There
And
is a
yeah.
balance. Respect the
he
balance.
fucking hangs up on her.
Then she runs into the dude in the diner where she goes to pick up her shit, and then like she's all like
Yeah.
frantic, and then she sees the old dude, and then the old dude's was the young kid because he has the fucking weird scab arm thing going on.
Mhm.
Yeah. You
It's
see,
like
he's
a
got the
birthmark.
same birthmark as the other dude.
It's a
Yeah.
long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you talking about, old man?
Which like this
7
like fuck this
days.
guy at this point.
Yeah, right. It's like you knew this was gonna happen. Fuck you. The young
Although-
version of him didn't give a fuck.
What I want to know is how much of what is he all fucked up too, or was he?
He seemed pretty fucking old.
He seemed old.
He was definitely older than he was probably a lot older than when he was actually started.
Yeah, I'm curious
I
about.
bet they
I'm
fucked with him,
curious
too.
about that guy's history with the
Yeah,
substance.
that guy was definitely goofing, dude.
Yeah,
But
that guy
was
had
he-
a lot of bad experiences, it felt.
New bod goofing.
Was he? He wasn't respecting the boundaries. You're saying?
Nah, dude, that you saw his fucking eyes, dude. Those eyes were
Yeah, but he wasn't. He
You
wasn't.
can't
I don't
trust
know.
those eyes, dude.
Well, that's another thing too. It's like with your quote unquote perfect, like a perfect version of your former self, it's like you're going to eventually not want to be anything but yourself. So it's probably just like predestined that you're going to start fucking it up by doing exactly what the guy's person probably did too, which was taking more serum and having more time allotted and you know what I mean? Like that's just how it's
Yeah,
probably
and
going to be. That's human nature. That's human nature.
because the dude eventually says, he's like, "Has she started yet?" And she's like, "What are you
Yes.
talking about? Has she started eating away at you?"
Yep. Yep.
Implying
Yep.
what's to come.
I just wonder how long he's been doing that. I wonder if
about
it's
Giovanni?
fresh for him too. Substance has got to be new.
Probably within a year, I'd say.
In a year of this fictional world.
It seems like it's still like testing. Like it doesn't seem like legit yet, since the whole locker situation
Yeah.
seems a little shady.
Definitely not FDA approved.
Not
Is this a
that
play on
that wasn't a
Ozempic?
true pharmacy.
100%.
Is it
Well, it's.
Ozempic
I think.
thing?
I think
Oh,
it's
definitely
I think
Ozempic,
it's an
dude.
Ozempic. It's a bit of an allegory to Ozempic.
It's a nod to a lot of things.
It's a nod. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wink at lots of things going down in the old H Wood, short for Hollywood. For those wondering.
Nice.
You know, you take Ozempic, you feel better, then you eat because
Because you're a piece of shit.
you're gonna eat still
Because you're a piece of
Ozempic
shit.
is not a lifestyle change, and then
Yeah.
you get fat again, and then you hate
You're a piece of
yourself,
shit.
then you call yourself a piece of shit,
Yeah. And if you're wondering, yeah, you should kill yourself.
and you're like, I just wish I could get on that OZ again, but I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Wonder how much this shit costs. They didn't really do that. It was all free too.
I think shout out to the big
That's
cat.
true.
I think he told me it's like fucking like $15,000 or something.
No, he's talking about the substance, dude.
Oh, they're talking about Ozempic still.
Uh,
Shout out to the big cat. Sorry.
I think the substance was still in testing stage, so it was free.
So
yeah, she just was like, I'd like to make it. He's like,
Because
well,
they never
could you
mentioned
deliver it?
anything about the money. I
Yeah.
never realized that till you just said that. That's
But-
kind of crazy.
A lot of things were like vague in that
Yeah,
wacky world.
yeah.
So she is sad because she's old.
She got
and
that witch
Sue
finger.
is young, and she got a witch finger now.
Yeah. So she calls.
and
They
she
tell
also
her.
hates that and now we see her the billboard out front, and that's staring at her face every time. She's
Yeah.
on fucking TV and shit. So yeah, she calls homeboy.
Ned, the guy from
Groundhog's
Groundhog
Day.
Day. Yeah.
She
steps in a
calls
mud
him.
puddle.
Yeah, let's go out and try to.
Oh, we
try to
never
feel-
talked about that scene. We never talked about Ned yet.
We did.
We never. No, we didn't talk about him.
We did.
And no, we did.
Yeah,
I
you just
mentioned
don't
him
always
for.
pay attention.
I mentioned him because of Groundhog Day, but
Oh, we
it
didn't talk
was-
about that
it-
scene though.
No,
Exactly
it
what
was
happened.
right after. It was right after the Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, we didn't talk
hallway
about the
scene,
number
right?
exchange.
I guess that's true.
Is that yeah? It was
I
after the
referenced mud
doctor.
puddle, that was it.
It was after the doctor's office. After she gets the substance. After she was leaving there. It was very
Okay.
early on.
Go on.
She meets a guy. A guy comes up to her and is like, "Hey, Elizabeth, it's me. Is it Ned? Is it actually Ned?"
No, Ned was the Groundhog Day guy. This
Oh, okay.
guy was.
It's me, Kyle
I don't
from
remember. What
from
it
high
was.
school. She's like, "Oh, Kyle from homeroom." I think he says.
Ted.
Yeah.
She's like,
It was
"Oh, what's
Ted.
up?" He's like, "Hey, I've been following your career. You're still the prettiest girl in the world. You're so beautiful." And she's like, "Oh, thank you." And you can tell like she really needed that. And he's like, but you can also tell she, as in this moment, didn't give a
Yeah.
fuck. You know what I mean? And he was super cool about it.
Yeah,
He was like, "I've been following your career. I just want you to know, like, maybe that we're connected. We can go out sometime." And she's like, "Oh, I don't know, but give me your card. You never know." So he writes his great scene. He writes his number on a piece of paper, on a piece of paper. I guess had his cholesterol levels on. He goes,
Oh,
"So
yeah,
look at my
she
cholesterol
was
levels.
coming out
They're
of the
high."
doctor's office too. That's why. That's right.
Yeah. "Don't look at my cholesterol levels. They're pretty high." And she's like, "Huh." And then he drops the paper. It lands in the shitty, dirty cigarette water.
With a
and then he picks it
cigarette
up and
butt.
hands it to her. And she's like, "Ah, all right, cool." Anyway, that's what happens.
So cut to her witch finger status. She digs up the old purse, digs up. So seemed like that might have been a long time ago. Everything was all put away like that. But
Well,
whatever.
Margot Qualley put all that shit away. She started dividing the house up.
It just said old shit, I think,
Yeah.
in a
Mhm.
box. Ooh, maybe that just meant the old shit and not interesting. Not old shit, but old shit.
Mhm.
She finds the number, calls Ned, and he's like, "Yeah, let's set up a date." He's like, "Oh, I can't believe you fucking calling me." And she fixes herself up. She puts a nice dress on, gets some high heels. She looks great. She's got makeup. She pretties herself up. heads out, or she goes to close the door where Margaret's sleeping in the now, which we didn't really talk about. At a certain point, Margaret, for some reason, wants to just hide her away. I think that's what the point is she just doesn't like seeing the ugly one on the floor anymore. So she pulls the tools together, finds a hollow spot in the wall, and makes this like trap secret door to a hideaway.
Perfectly fits.
Perfectly, yeah, yeah. You would never tell. It's like pushes pulls a fucking book out of the shelf.
Perfectly renovated a bathroom.
Perfectly,
like hidden bathroom closet. And
this is the point where I was just smile on my face the whole time. I was just laughing at everything that was happening from this point on. Just
like that. I had to think that too. I'm like, how the fuck did she renovate so fast? And I'm like, shut up. This is that kind of movie. Fucking,
yeah,
like just
unimportant.
Let it be. Doesn't matter.
I just went like this. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides for the overall substance part of this movie, that's definitely the most unbelievable part. Is that she built that room and did it so perfectly. It's just perfectly built. It's like you said. It's like you would never know it's there or anything.
And it's huge too. Like where
by
is
herself.
that space?
Yeah. She knows how to do all
that's
that.
That's like a 3-week job with 4 dudes.
Also,
for sure.
100%. The things that we saw her doing had nothing to do with like she was hammering anchors into the tile and
welding. She had a welder.
Like none of that had to do with what was going on.
Right.
It was just,
that's awesome.
It was just building montage. It was just random building montage. It was great.
That was awesome. Yeah.
It was perfect. It fit the movie perfectly.
Yeah.
Now she's outside. Anyway, we're switched. She's closing the door. She sees Margot. She's like, basically,
she looks so bridge.
We're seeing now a montage cutting between her, Margaret, or Sue, and the fucking clock. And every time she's trying to leave, she sees Sue. Every time she sees Sue, she's got to go back and do something else to her face or cover up something.
Change her look completely. She goes different colors.
And this happens like 2 or 3 times until she's just literally it's kind of a devastating scene.
It's a great scene. It's probably
cinematically,
it's probably the best scene in the movie, to be honest.
She's
like it's
literally
great.
Like she leaves the bathroom and she like goes outside and she sees the billboard and then she got to go back to the bathroom. And then she leaves and she avoids looking at the billboard, but as she's leaving, she sees a fucking reflection of the billboard. Yeah. Then she sees a reflection of herself and then she goes back
in the doorknob. The reflection of herself in the doorknob, which was awesome.
And she's all distorted in the doorknob because it's doorknob. And
if Demi Moore gets nominated or wins, it's for this scene for sure.
And it keeps cutting to the clock. It's a very, very tense scene.
Yeah.
And then she just ends up not going out. She just gives up. She wipes all the makeup off.
He starts texting her.
Like texting her, like, where you at? Like, what's going on?
Are you okay?
We never hear from him again. He probably killed himself.
Probably.
Then I think it just ends with her like sitting down, eating food, and watching Margaret Sue on like a late night show or something.
Yeah.
Because the next scene is Sue working out in the morning show and she's like bends over and we see this is like one of the first kind of not the first crazy scene, but she gets like a lump in her butt and she
this is back when Sue's part of the 7 days now, right?
Yeah. Well, we're back to Sue. Yeah.
Back to Sue. Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. And she bends over and she's got like a lump in her butt. She freaks out. She ends up pulling like a fucking chicken.
Well, wait, before you say that, this is a crazy scene. Yeah. Because then like the camera guy's like, oh, hold on, control room just called, and the director saw something really weird. Let's go back and review the tape frame by frame.
So like it goes on camera 2, and then it cuts to camera 2, and it's just her ass. Yeah, just her ass shot.
So like the whole crew, all these dudes, the grip guys, the camera guys, the ACs, the crafty guys, whoever was in the room, are all staring at the monitor, watching the frame by frame playback, which is of her ass, and they're waiting for it, and she's freaking out like because she's nervous. She goes into her dressing room and she sees the thing in her butt, and she starts. How do you even describe it?
It's like
she
a
moves
lump,
it.
and she
Move
like
through up her skin.
Yeah.
pushes
This
it.
this was
through.
one of those scenes
This was a
for me
gross
that
one.
It
was
was
like,
gross.
fuck
She like
this.
she
This is
pushes
gnarly.
it up like over her hip, and it's like coming
In her
up,
stomach,
and she like pushes it into her stomach, and then she
right
just
by her belly button.
reaches into her belly button
Yeah.
and
So fucking
pulls
gross.
out
A
slowly
drumstick.
fucking chicken drumstick.
And it's gross. It's got all like the
And
skin.
then when it
looks
pulls
like it's
out,
been
it like
plucked.
cuts to the belly button, like butthole thing.
Yeah, like a
sphincter,
butthole. Yup.
like
Yeah.
close up. That was one
Yeah.
of the grossest part.
That was awesome.
But this is boom.
Yeah,
It's like this. She wakes up.
Yeah,
this
dream.
that was like a dream. But
And why she dreamed that, and it was because Elizabeth has been just gorging on junk food and shit because she's
Yeah.
depressed.
she gets up, she goes out, and instead of seeing the fucked up from her party, she's seeing just like somebody who just binged an entire.
She's seeing
chicken,
Drew
a
Liner's
piece of
life,
quiche,
basically.
and some
She's
pie,
just Drew
and I
Liner.
think a waffle I saw in the fridge.
God.
Ice cream, waffles, whole chicken.
A
Shout
whole
out to Big
chicken.
Cat.
She had a whole chicken.
She ate a whole chicken.
There was
She
a whole
pissed.
chicken.
A
Whole rotisserie.
a whole chicken.
Does
Full
she
rotisserie chicken.
call the place at this point?
Yes. Next shot is Margaret Qualley walking around outside being like, this bitch fucking eats all day. I
Yeah.
can't handle it. I don't have enough time to live my life. My life is so good. Her life sucks. And then this is basically when she decides that she's gonna start stealing more time on the reg.
Well,
Which she begins to do.
She goes into her job to the morning show,
yeah.
and it's empty. And the guy,
There's a
they're
guy
like,
wrapping cables.
Yeah, he's just like
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And she has to report to Dennis Harvey's office, and he's like, does the whole like, oh, we can't have you anymore because you're gonna be hosting the late night show or whatever.
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve show. And so she got an upgrade.
He says to her, he goes, this is gonna be really hard. We have a few months to do this. Do you want
Yeah.
to commit? And she's like, yeah.
She's like, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
when we see, that's when she's like, definitely. She goes in to her and we see her. She's like, just one more day. And then we
Yeah.
see, I think 3 days. She goes past 3 days the first time.
Well, I think it's even more the first time, to be honest. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was
Well, we
three.
see, we just
The
see
garbage
like 3
can
different
montage,
outfits
yeah.
coming.
Like
Yeah.
all fucked up.
Yeah.
And then what?
Which-
I think there's got to be another like fucked up dream. What was the?
So no, the next part is, which is I think was one of my favorite parts, is there's no dream. It shows all the cool things she does. Like she does the Vogue magazine cover. She does like an interview. She does an interview talking about how great she is. And then it cuts to an outside shot of the door of the room they're locked in.
Yeah.
And you just hear Demi Moore scream. She goes, no. And then you're like, oh shit. Cuts to the shower and you see her whole leg is
Her
all fucked
legs.
up. And
She
then
got
her
a-
whole
she
arm
got
is
witch
fucked
leg.
up too. Yeah,
Half
which
her
that was
face.
great. That was great. That was creepy as fuck. That was probably the creepiest part of this movie was the way they did that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
She's
I
full
didn't like
witch
that.
now.
Yeah, she looks like a little witch bitch.
So she finds that like cookbook from like
Yeah,
it's
was the gift.
yeah, and that was
Yeah.
like she like had to like snap her leg into place.
She also looks old now, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
she
that's
look-
why you keep saying
yeah.
Her
witch.
face, and her like
Half
fa-
of her face.
her hair is
Yeah.
gray.
Especially when she started doing the cooking, I was literally thinking, I'm like, fuck, is this a witch movie now? Is she like making potions? Is this
Yeah.
turned into a witch movie?
She was making gross ass shit too. It was like brains and like
French
cabbage
cooking.
and shit.
She's losing it.
Blood
She's
sausages.
losing it now.
Blood
She
sausage
called-
and apples.
She called the place again, and this is the first time they tell her, listen, you can be, this is before the cooking. They're like, you can stop this right now. She's like, well, will everything go back normal? She's like, no, like I said, nothing's gonna change. What has changed is there, but you can stop it right now if you want to stop it. And she just goes,
No.
well, this is where she's like, she has to, I mean, I have to there will be a battle. She's like, she's like slapping herself in the face. She's losing her shit now.
Yeah.
And then yeah, she sits down, she turns the TV on, and it's the fucking late night show with Sue. And not only that, Sue's like talking shit on her, like, oh,
Yup.
we're a
I never
different
watched her
generation.
show.
Yeah,
Fuck
I've
her
never
show,
seen her
yeah.
show. My mom liked her show.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the whole
yeah.
time she's like ripping through this French
Cookbook.
cookbook, which is
And she's like making fun of her too. She's like, "Oh, my mom wants to show."
Yeah.
That she was hilarious.
super witchy.
yeah.
Super witchy. But yeah, she's off the deep end, just cooking, eating sausage, like blood sausage and shit, which is actually pretty good.
Remember the blood sausage we had in Paraguay? Those dudes made it for us.
Yeah.
That was bomb. And then that dude who died sang the song with them.
No, I don't recall that.
Dude,
But-
That was pretty wild.
Sang the song with the
Yeah,
dude who
Gerard
died.
sang the song with the natives.
Yeah. Gerard.
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess that sounds weird. The dude who died sang the song. What the
the
fuck? are you
dude who
talking
died
about?
sang the song with him.
Anyway, go ahead, Jake. Proceed.
Then eventually she goes back.
Sue wakes up and is pretty angry at what she sees.
Even
Yeah.
grosser than before.
It's gross.
It's disgusting. Well, also like she had boarded up. She used newspapers. She threw eggs at the windows.
Oh,
put
right,
newspapers
right. Yeah.
all over the windows. She put newspaper all over the TV, and then she gorged herself until she switched. And Sue goes in with just mason jars and coffee mugs and just starts draining.
Oh.
And
Oh.
and yeah,
When it gets gross.
Oh.
and this is when like her at this is just her, we see her draining of the stabilizer liquid out of her spine, thinking she's like, I'm never gonna come and turn into you again. Cut to 3 months later. It's New Year's
This bitch has been
Eve.
3 months not being
3
a person.
months.
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
That's right. She's not full blown witch yet. She's half witch now. She's full. So
Yeah.
3 months later, she's what is she doing?
She's practicing for the New Year's Eve shit.
Oh, she's
Like,
got a
the next night.
boyfriend.
She's got a dude now too.
She's
yeah.
got a dude that's living
Super
in the
sexy
house.
dude,
She's
yeah.
about so super sexy dude. The great cut of the asses.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Her
Um,
ass, his ass. Yeah.
So she's about to go to bed. She's like, yeah, I'll be right to bed. And so she goes to the bathroom, pulls out a little stabilizer vial, goes in, and this is where it gets real gross. Because for 3 months she has been using whatever she had, but also probably going back and draining her.
And she's
now
been
it's
giving
just
her all
like-
the food too.
it's
She's
like
been changing all the foods.
Oh yeah, all the foods.
Yeah.
We never really explain like eventually or when they switch, they gotta connect this like food matrix, and there's
like
two.
milk.
There's one for you and one for your other self, and we just see it's littered with all of them, yours and yourselves. She's
3
just
months
been-
worth.
She's just been going in and plugging her in and forgetting about her. But and the whole
She gets
her
in there and
spine-
she goes, so it like smelled bad and shit. in
yeah,
there,
the
too.
hole in
Ugh.
her spine now is just
Oh,
is
it's
all
black and blue.
It's definitely infected.
Yeah.
'Cause
Very,
she ain't
very,
taking care. This
very
bitch
Requiem
just
for a
ain't
Dream.
taking care of herself.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream status.
Real gross. She sticks the needle in the set. I don't know why she wouldn't just put a new hole. Like, why does she? just
Because
poke a
it's
new hole?
gross and it's supposed to be gross.
That's where it comes from.
She hits it. She hits the spine, pulls it out, and it's just black, like
it's like tar.
tar.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And she's kind of losing it. She needs to be stabilized.
Yeah,
and
she
she's
started
out of
bleeding and shit
stabilizer.
again. Yeah.
She calls the people and she's like, "Yo, I'm fucking out of stabilizer," and they're like, "You guys,
It's over.
You fucked it
Well,
up."
the first they say, okay, well then you've reached the end. She's like, the end of what? He's like, your experience. She's like, well, what do you mean? What do I do? He's like, well, you got to switch back if you want it to regenerate. It's the only way it works.
Yeah,
So she has to do it.
In order for her
Yeah.
to the spinal fluid to regenerate, she's got. So they need each other. You know, they need each
Yeah.
other. They both.
They
need-
are one.
They are one. It's New Year's Eve. She cannot spend a week as this bitch, but she has to because she's fucking dying. So she goes back. She runs to the bathroom, locks herself in. We hear the change happen. We hear the scream. Husband, whatever, boyfriend gets up and is like, "Yo, babe, you all right?" And he's like knocking on the door. And then this is where we see full-blown witch, Demi. She is, I mean, how do you even describe her?
Shit kind of reminded me of the old bitch in the Shining bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
for
reminded me
sure.
of
There
that,
you go.
like because it was in the bathroom. But
Or a
was-
vampire
there's
from-
even
from
a little
Dusk
bit
Till
more
Dawn.
to this.
Or
It was
the witch
kinda
in
like-
the beginning of the Vivitch.
Yeah.
Or just the movie the Witches, that Nicholas Rogue movie,
Yeah.
the 80s.
Witchy.
That bald head, like fucking hunched over, and
Yeah.
Super floppy titties.
yeah, floppy
Dude, the
titties,
super floppy
all
flat,
sorts
like
of scabbed up.
crazy
Yeah.
titties. You can roll those things up.
Lick them.
Remind me of an old Ron White joke. All right, roll them up. She's fucked up. Let's just say some of the best practical effects I've ever seen.
Pretty great.
I mean,
The way that they shot this scene too, of her like going through the house, like the wide angle, like almost like Yorgos Lanthimos shots and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like of her crawling around and kind of like a hunchback of Notre
very
Dame and
Yorgos,
shit.
yeah. Her running
Really
around,
crazy.
especially toward the end when she's just dragging Margaret's body around.
Dude, that was insane.
She can move for an old bitch.
She can
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
For that
But just
hunchback,
the
like, she can move.
craziest prosthetics. It's just the funnest. It's so fun. I was just having so fun. I was having so much fun at this point when we see her. She screams. The boyfriend's like, "Well, are you okay?" She's like puking and shit in there, and she's like the spit. She's like spitting, just spitting.
She tells him to get out. It's terrifying.
She spit. He doesn't even see her spit, but his reaction.
hears
like,
it.
What the fuck? She's like, get out of here, and he gets out. He fucking runs away. But there's a great cut of like showing her. It just kind of like little like clips, little different pieces of her body, and then it shows her ass, and then it just flash cuts to his ass, which I thought was very clever and
It's
fun.
hilarious. Yeah.
He bounces. She is a monster.
Yeah. She starts running around the house. What is she doing?
Yeah, what she
Vampiric.
pulls her. She immediately pulls her picture back out.
Yeah.
Right.
To see her former self as it was.
Just
probably.
to see which I
well-
guess at that point it is like fuck, you thought you were bad before.
Yeah. You were hot as fuck.
She called the place and like, I want out.
I want out. Yeah.
Fucking
She
done.
said she was
So they
done.
deliver. They say they'll deliver it, and she goes out as a little witch lady. And that's the last time you see the neighbor. He's like, "Hey, baby." She's like, "Get away from me." He's like, "Ah."
You know what she looked like? She looked like a Vogon from fucking Hitchhiker's
Yeah,
Guide to the
Hitchhiker's
Galaxy.
Guide.
Oh, I thought you were gonna have a Harry Potter reference.
Oh no, okay, hold on.
Dobby. She looks like Dobby's aunt.
Definitely doesn't look like Dobby. She looks like
Yeah,
Harry's aunt.
like an old bitch Dobby.
She looks like Harry
Dobby's
Potter
aunt.
or,
Dobby's old aunt.
Dobby's old aunt. Bitch
I'll
face.
I'll think of someone. Continue. She goes out. She gets the last package.
Yeah. Gets the
Which
last
is-
package.
Which
Brings
is
it back.
just a
And it's just the
fucking-
thing that says terminate.
It's a giant
Well, it
syringe. It
also
says
says,
termination.
Sorry,
Yeah,
you did not
that's
enjoy
right.
your experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
So
they apologize. You didn't.
she
enjoy it.
He goes in, drags Margaret like a fucking Olympic figure skater gliding on the ice, like, out and down. Her head bats on the fucking stairs. It's
which
great.
at this point I'm thinking, which I know this is the best place. This is just cinematically a great place to do this. But why now? Why now? You're gonna pull her out of the bathroom. This whole time, all the things we were doing is all in the bathroom. Now you're gonna pull her out into the fucking middle of the living room. But whatever. That's
Sure.
neither here. nor there.
Maybe she just doesn't want to be in the bathroom anymore. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
There's maybe it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in here that I thought, and then
I think she wanted to-
That doesn't matter.
She went to kill her in front of the poster.
How
Oh,
did
in
she
front of the
know how to
billboard?
get her to- oh, maybe.
Yeah, dude.
That's
Maybe
fair.
like
That's a
the
good reason.
billboard get her all fired up, and then it gets all Tarantino-esque, and she
But-
stabs with the needle.
I think the
I thought
reason
about
is
that.
so that she can look. Yeah. Oh, definitely. She like was looking for her heart. I
And the
think the
thump.
reason is so that she can look over and see the thing and have second thoughts. Like that's the real
Yeah.
reason.
Also that. Also aided
Because-
to the script.
She does. She stabs her in the heart. Just starts squeezing. Gets probably like most of it in there.
All of it. It goes back to his close up and it's all in.
No, it's not all in.
No,
Yeah.
it's like
No, there's like a
a-
quarter or something.
yeah,
left,
I'd say
like
a quarter.
chunk
Wasn't that
left.
the plunger? Wasn't that the black plunger?
That no, that was like the liquids. There was always black
Oh,
liquid.
I thought it
had,
was the
like
plunger.
a little bit. Nah, there was a little liquid.
I
left.
think
Okay.
it wasn't all of it, which is the reason why.
Yeah, why she didn't fully die.
didn't-
So what? So right here though, the movie also goes crazy because now they're existing at the same time when she kills her and she wakes up.
So now
Right.
I think this is where
So hold on, you gotta talk about the transfusion. So she decides she doesn't want her to be dead. She says like, "You're the only thing I live for. Like I want to
Yeah.
be happy. So
I
she's
hate
like, I need you
myself."
back." So she goes, gets to the fucking transfusion thing, sticks it in her heart, Pulp Fiction style,
yeah.
and then she wakes up. And now they're both existing at the same time, which is wild. Like I don't understand that, but I guess it doesn't matter.
I think this is the moment where
You don't
because
understand that?
she's like half dead and she's
She's like, zombie.
it's
this
like
is my f-
it's like only a day after the last switch, so maybe like something else like whatever happens the two are now
Separate.
separate.
And this is the part I was talking about earlier where Margaret Qualley's acting is awesome, where she like just starts screaming and chasing her around and shit. Like
Yeah,
I thought
it
it
was
was
wild.
awesome. It was great.
She beats the shit out of
Beats the
her.
shit
She
out of her.
does.
So they're both awake now. Margot wakes up. They're staring at each other. It's the first time that they've been together where both are awake. And also she's staring at a monster who she hates. She hates because she hates her. Because she hates her. Because she
Yeah,
hates her.
'cause she's a slob.
Because she hates herself. She hates that part of her.
Mm-hmm.
She hates her because she hates
Mhm.
herself. And
They're
that
one.
part is now there. So that part hates this part.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking. This movie's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, this would make no sense in any way.
No,
You'll be like, you'll hear you what we're
this is
saying.
not going to be a good podcast.
No, I don't
It's
think
the,
if you
the
here's the
duality
thing.
of man, dude.
If you haven't
It's
seen this movie, you're not
fucking
going to listen to this podcast.
human
Let's
condition,
be
man.
honest. This
Well,
this
yeah, that's what
specific
it's
episode
about,
for
Jake,
sure.
but
Yeah,
that's not what this. That's not what happens in this
that's what
movie.
happens,
So
dude.
anyway, they're both sides of her are awake now. Sue looks down and sees that she was half terminated and gets real mad.
Yeah, she just screams and starts chasing her.
And
It's
I
awesome.
think I even filmed this part. She kicks her at one point, and
Yeah.
it's just total Tarantino or like
Right.
whatever kung
That
fu
became
kick
kung fu
across
movie
the
for sure.
fucking across the
Yeah.
room. Loved it. But yeah,
Into
she
the picture the first time.
yeah,
picture on the
chases
wall.
her around the room, and then finally has her like knocks her down through the painting through like a glass table.
Mhm.
And then does she take her? Oh, she takes her into the bathroom or there.
Oh yes,
no.
no, smashes her face in the.
So
fucking,
yeah, she runs. She chases her around. She kicks her into the thing. She runs into the bathroom, locks herself into the bathroom. Sue is just kicking the bathroom door until she
kicks it
fucking
down.
kicks it in, which fucks the Elizabeth up.
shitty
And
European locks.
she grabs Elizabeth. They both stare at each other in the mirror, face off style. And then she
Smashes her
slams
face into it.
face once upon a time in Hollywood style
About 10 times.
about 10 times into the mirror until it's just. This was another moment that I heard somebody laugh, which I thought was great. I heard someone go,
Yeah.
And then she drags her out to where where it all started, and kicks or she maybe drags herself out to over there, but she meets up with her and then just kicks the shit out of her until she's dead.
Mhm.
And then she takes a shower and goes to New Year's Eve.
Yeah, she gets there. And this is the teeth part, right?
Yeah, she goes in, New Year's party. She's pretty. What happens? There's like, why does she even go in the bathroom? They're
starts
doing
coughing
dress
a
rehearsals.
bunch,
Yeah. And then she's like, I gotta go. I gotta go take a shit. She goes to the bathroom. She's freaking out. She's bleeding from the ears and everything. Because now her matrix, what she was surviving, they need each other. She can't live. One can't be without the other. So
Yeah,
now
her
that
body
one's
starts
dead,
to deteriorate.
this one's just falling apart.
Yeah.
She goes
So
to
this
the
is the-
bathroom. She looks in the mirror and
Yeah.
she
Starts pulling out her teeth.
coughs a little bit, and she coughs up a tooth. Then she pulls out another tooth. Then she pulls out like 3 more teeth.
This
And
part
she's
wasn't
fucking
as bad
hard.
to me as everything else, to be honest with you. I mean, it
That
was
shit
gross,
makes
but
me
I didn't have to
At
look
this
away.
point, yeah.
I didn't have to look away
No,
at this point.
At this point, this was not that bad.
Nothing was going to top that needle going into the back when it looked as shitty as it did. That was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I think it's like it was already enough at that point, so they
Yeah.
just kept adding more gross shit. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, and
You
I
gotta
have a
just keep
theory about
fucking
that.
tooth
But
shit.
she's freaking out. The guy's like, yo, you got to come out. We got to do it. We got to do a rehearsal with everybody. And she's like, she's obviously can't go out. She has no front teeth now. She is not a pretty girl. She in her stroke of genius, she remembers that she still has a little activator, single use, throwaway after use activator at home. So, which I knew exactly what I was like, all right, I see where this is going. And I also kind of see where this is going. So she runs home. There's a great scene of her on her way out where, again, Harvey.
Dennis
coming
Quaid
up-
has all the
Dennis
board
coming
members.
up with all the board members.
Yeah.
Bunch of dudes just like, ooh, just oogling all the girls. And he asks her to smile, and she gives her that, like, that was in the trailer, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I remember. I feel like I
Okay, I
remember
watched the
seeing
trailer.
that scene, and I didn't. I don't know. But she gives
Toothless
her this
smile.
Kind of no, just a
Mouth is
just
closed.
Mouth,
Yeah,
mouth
yeah.
smile. and they loved it. And then luckily they were distracted by other ladies run by. So she
Yeah,
goes
the naked
home.
ladies, naked showgirl ladies.
She goes home. Yeah, just naked girls everywhere.
Yeah.
She finds the remaining activator left, and all the while she's hearing the voice in her head, which she does hear a lot of. She hears voices the whole time too, which we never talked about. I don't know how.
She does?
Oh
they-
yeah,
they-
especially when
his-
she's about to kill herself. It's like the dude's voice is like, "Are you
sure?
sure?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you
But like
do it,
early
you'll
on
never go
too,
back.
she hears something in like the box room. We don't really hear a voice, but it's definitely something. And then like later on,
Right.
she hears the voice. But yeah, we hear it saying like "better you." We just hear that going like bigger or smaller, hotter, or whatever. Better you. She goes home, injects herself. She's screaming, "I just need a better me," because she's falling apart. Her ear falls off at a certain point in the elevator.
Yeah.
Again,
Her
the
nail
sound
falls
is
off.
just she pulls her nails off. Now that was worse than the teeth, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too.
She goes home, injects herself with the activator, and shit just immediately goes wild. We do the whole zoom into her eye and see another eye get like 10 eyes are being made now, and now because she is already the duplicate. Now we're duplicating duplicates, and you can't
Can't
duplicate
clone a clone, dude.
You can't clone a clone. So her back
Multiplicity rule.
opens up, and Schwartz comes out.
It's like Schwartz meets Drew Liner.
Gross.
Schwartzliner comes out.
Gross.
Um,
No, and then it goes to one thing we didn't talk about either is each one of these characters is a title card. The first
Yeah.
one is Elizabeth, second one is Sue, and then this one goes Monstro Eliza. What is it? Monstro
Eliza
Eliza
Sue.
Sue or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Monstro.
was hilarious. That's
Yeah,
funny. That's
that
really funny.
That made me like.
Yeah,
and then
I laughed
now,
out loud at that
Now
point.
it's a
100%.
comedy.
Yeah.
And then it's like cutting to her like putting on that blue dress again.
Yeah.
And like putting
Yes.
on
Well,
like fucking
yeah.
earrings and shit.
So she's a monster now.
She looks like the Elephant Man.
I mean, she looks like the Elephant Man had
Meets the
like an
Thing.
accident.
Yes.
Yeah.
Demi
She
Moore's
has
face
Demi
is
Moore's
in her
face
on her back.
Like
She's got
the-
teeth on her
just like-
chest.
just
titties
like
on her
wide
head.
open, reaching out.
Some sort of tail.
Yeah.
They're dragging something.
And yet, this is the moment she finally feels beautiful. This is the moment she finally accepts herself.
When she puts the earrings on, that was probably the funniest part of the movie.
She puts her dress back on. She puts her earrings back on.
She puts her earrings into her face.
She
Well,
kind of just pushes
she
them.
found where the ears
Yeah,
were.
she kind of like
they
felt
were all
around
over the
for
yeah,
it.
you know.
You know what this kind of reminded me of in Harry Potter? If you're apparating and you don't do it right, you can get splinched, which means like you come back with different body parts. in
Two
different
words that
places.
aren't real.
Apparate and splinch.
I don't think those are real words, to be honest.
They are in Harry
Definitely
Potter.
not splinch.
Splinched. Yeah, you get splinched. Remember in side note tangent. No, not Harry Potter. In not Starship Troopers, but the one with Monk
Star
and
Wars, Trek,
the Star Trek
Balls,
one. We did it for the podcast.
the whole series.
The Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest when they're
Yeah.
when they're getting people back and forth and like
We need your help.
He beams him onto the ship and he's like, "Is he okay?" And he's like, "No, he exploded."
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, she's a monster, and yeah, the title card hilarious, and it's that neon green. It's like the green of the substance now.
Yeah.
Wah.
She's pretty. She pretties herself up. She goes out. She rips off the face of the poster.
Oh my God. This is
She
hilarious.
super glues it to her face. Audible laughs in the theater.
So
yeah.
funny.
This is when it's just funny at this point.
It's hilarious.
But it's still like, what the fuck?
Here's the thing. This is that you've ramped this movie up to this point. You know that this is what's going to happen. She's going to do it again. You know that that's going to result in some kind of major default. Like
Never goes well.
that
when you
is
clone a
going.
clone.
Those are almost the obvious points at this point. Like that is what's obviously going to happen. So how are you going to end it? You know, how can you? That's what because I was like, is this over the top? Is this too much? Is this crazy? And kind of yeah, but also how the fuck else were you going to end this type of movie? Where you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, we're not even really. We haven't
We're
ended
not,
yet.
but before we get there,
It
so
just
she
gets more wild. Yeah.
super glues and she still and puts lipstick on that and goes to the New Year's party. She hallucinates everyone saying that that they love her and that
Very Carrie like.
yeah, super
Oh, yeah.
Carrie. She goes full Carrie. It's her time on stage.
She's
and
got the fucking
Harvey's like
mask on.
Harvey's again, just right here, just like
You're not gonna be disappointed.
I've sculpted a perfect little girl. Like he's
Right.
super creepy. She comes out, mask on.
All the big titty pretty bitches are around her.
Everyone's beautiful, butts everywhere.
Titties everywhere.
Just
Tits
like
out.
your haiku, butts and boobs. And I don't even know. Like nobody even reacts at first. Does she speak?
Yeah,
Oh,
she's like that. Yeah, like
She's like,
thank you for having me. Good to be back. Good to see everyone again. Blah blah blah. But like
she's
it's all like mumbly.
she's like the Barbara Streisand monster.
On South Park.
Yeah,
Mecha Streisand.
Mecha Streisand, or she's like
Weird.
Britney Spears when she blows her face
Oh
in
my
half.
god, that is. I watched the episode the other day.
Britney
The
Spears'
episode's
new
amazing.
look.
Yeah. Her tongue's moving and
It's
shit.
just like a tongue.
Yeah.
So that's how she's talking in this movie. And then her mask falls off, and then
Everyone's
she-
like, monster.
no,
Kill it,
not
shoot
yet.
it." Oh,
The
tit happen? The tit happens, right?
Gash opens
Oh,
up in her
yeah.
face.
yeah. Second
and
most gross part in the movie.
birds a boobie
A titty.
with like a tail
This is
Looked like an
pretty cool.
eye, like a titty
that
eye.
just like it came out, plopped onto the ground,
Yeah. Everybody was like, oh.
and
Kill it.
that was the last straw for everybody. Everyone
Yeah, so the females just start standing up, screaming and pointing.
Great
zoom.
zooms. Great
Signs of
zooms.
monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome zooms.
Oh yeah, total Carrie. Everyone freaks out. Everyone starts like pushing her around. Eventually, a guy comes up with a baseball bat and just bashes her fucking head in.
Fucking head
Explodes her
explodes.
head.
Chops her
She
head off.
grows a new one, of course.
Blood sprays everywhere.
Her arm falls off,
arm
spraying blood
explodes
everywhere.
off. Blood,
Like a blood
is-
cannon.
Yeah, like a blood can, just giving blood everywhere.
Everyone's screaming.
It was Carrie. I don't think she killed everyone. I like to think
No.
maybe she like had HIV and everyone had a slow death. But
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
she like walks out into the Kubrick and she makes the Kubrick why am I saying that?
All bloody.
She makes the Kubrick hallway even more Kubrick by covering it in blood, which I loved.
Right.
Makes her way. Everyone's just traumatized, obviously. Great shots of Dennis Quaid just screaming, crying, covered in
The
blood.
little
All
girl
the
who came
lights
all
turn red.
crying.
At a certain point, I was thinking Jake's gonna hate this because all the lights.
All
just
it's
turn
red. Yeah, Jake hates red shit.
Jake hates those red lights.
Well, this is a heightened reality, so depending on how you use it.
Yeah, but in the short film, he was on drugs, so it was a heightened reality.
He was
Maybe.
hiding. He was hiding as fuck.
Yeah, 100%.
110%.
Well, it didn't come across as if that was happening.
Well, I mean, I think it did. He did the drugs, but whatever.
Of course, you thought it was because you had
Whatever, dude.
She makes her way outside. Where
wacko.
did anything else? I mean, she just kind of
She goes outside.
She freaks out for a minute inside the theater. Like it's a while.
After
scene
the-
lasts a while.
The blood, literally, she does like a fucking cannon
Yeah.
for like 3
A
minutes.
a
It's like
while.
this. Yeah, and then it cuts to her running outside, and this is where her body just falls apart and explodes.
Yeah, her like leg breaks. It's almost like Terminator when the T-1000 is falling apart. Falls down, almost exactly like Terminator. Falls down and her body just disintegrates, explodes. Like,
And then she's sitting there. Her face is sitting there. Her back face is sitting there in the pile of body, and
Demi's
decides to move, almost like
Elizabeth's
the
face.
Frightener style Peter Jackson movie when Jake Busey's face does it, which is pretty cool. It crawls like onto her star on the Hollywood Star
we
of Fame.
see
or
it
whatever.
like agonizingly make its way out of the pile of goo. And it's just like a
it's like a pancake and her face on top.
it's like a
bloody.
starfish almost. It's like a fucking octopus with
Gelatinous.
they kind of like and she's like
You know what it is? It's like a
agonizing,
loogie.
making her way. Oh god,
It is because it doesn't have arms. It's just a giant like goo loogie.
And it kind of just oozes its way over to
Her star on the
finds
Walk of
its way
Fame.
to her star, and then
And
it gives
dissolves.
us a POV of her looking up from her star, and then it cuts back down to that shot. It not only is it her star, it's that shot that we saw in the very beginning. It's that very top down shot of her crawling in, and then it ends with that same shot. Spotlight on her. Sparkles
fall from the sky.
She's super happy, and then she dissolves into her star, literally.
And it's all gross, and then it time cuts to the next day, and like a street cleaner cleans it up, and then the movie
cleans
ends.
the goo off, and everything's forgotten.
Yeah,
like it didn't matter.
Fiend.
That's the movie.
Jesus,
cheese and rice.
There's no way somebody listened to all
walked
this.
out fucking to myself saying, "What the fuck?
The fuck? Yeah."
Then let me ask you this: second viewing, better or worse? Entertainment value.
I didn't need to. I mean, I didn't need to do it again. It was just like still unsettling, and I'm like, it kind of just grossed me out more that I was doing it again. And I had times where like there was one time I like just went to the bathroom and like walked around for a couple minutes. And like, I need a little break from this fucking movie.
That's hilarious. It's a long movie. It's a long movie.
It is long, but you know,
2 hours and 20 minutes.
It doesn't feel that long. It moves. It moves quite well.
I caught myself checking what time it was a couple times though. I'll be honest, but it does.
Did you?
It has a pace. It has a fast pace.
Dragged out a little bit. The very end, but
it was like,
especially the second, even the second
jaw wide open, fucking like it was long and drawn. But you're like, what the fuck? Like my eyes were fucking wide at that point.
Second time
I wasn't looking away at that point.
Second time, I don't think it necessitates a second viewing if you enjoyed it the first time, but
sure,
really.
I enjoyed like kind of looking at. I was curious about. I was just curious about certain things that I like the time frame, like when does it take place, and I was looking for. That's when I saw I noticed all the. Yeah, she's using like an old phone, an old vacuum, but she also has like an iPhone, and there's flat screens, and that the car says like it's 2020 something. So like I was looking at shit like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just as entertaining the second time.
I agree that the first time you see it, the shock value and not knowing what to expect definitely hits harder. Obviously, that's an obvious thing to say. But I think second time, I really noticed a lot of things that I didn't notice the first time. Everything that Anthony said, on top of like the thing in the beginning when he checks her back and he first mind, I didn't pick up on that's why he was doing it, because that happens. I mean, there were other
seeing
things
that specifically because
that changed it for me actually a lot. Just that one simple thing, I was like, oh, that's crazy. But I think that what I realized the second time, because the first time is all about like, what the fuck? The second time, you're still thinking, what the fuck? But you're also admiring how good the movie is. It's a really, really well-made movie. Like from a technical aspect to keeping it all together with the story of how it all works, which, like you said, they don't explain everything, but they explain enough to keep you interested and to keep you, even though the world's heightened and you know it's not real, you still have a little bit of like, oh, well, these are the rules. And it does that very well, I think. And also when it breaks the rules, like when they're both alive at the same time, it doesn't waste time on explaining why. It just happens and it keeps going at the pace it's at, which also is really good. And I do think that, like you said in the beginning, this won Cannes Best Screenplay. I think it will also probably win the Academy Award for Best Screenplay, to be honest. I think it has a really good shot at that.
I don't think it'll win Best.
I think it might. I think it might. I think the only movie
weird.
I think the only movie that is better than it, maybe, and is emergency is Challengers. I think those are the two movies that'll be up for that.
Nah, it's still early.
How's the box office on it right now? It being
I looked and it said at 3.5 million it made so far.
That's not a lot.
I mean, it's only been out for 3 or 4 days, but yeah.
I mean, the two I went to were relatively full. They weren't packed, but they were relatively full cinemas.
Yes. I also feel like this is the kind of movie that has a very unique audience, and also like on streaming, this will kill on streaming because people will discover this and have no idea what it is, and it'll get another, like Strange Darling, like you said, that when that movie gets on streaming, people are gonna be like, holy fucking shit, you know what I mean? This is another one of those that'll do that, because I think there's people
Was
like
Strange Darling, the one we just watched.
That's the one we did a couple ago. Yeah,
the serial killer
one.
One night stand.
Yeah,
dude, that's a good movie. Sorry, I was trying to think of the name of that movie.
Yeah, it was a great film. This is a great film. This might be my second favorite movie of the year, to be honest.
This is up there, dude.
Yeah,
it was wild.
So what are your ratings? We should probably rate them.
I didn't do the rating.
Pull up the thing. Let's do it.
Pull up Johnny. Johnny.
I'm excited to see what this chick makes next. I hope she keeps making original stuff. I hope she doesn't get like. Hope she doesn't start making like Marvel movies or
I
something.
think that she'll get noted. I mean, Qualley and Moore are pretty up their name, so I think people will
Sure.
notice this movie. And
Yeah.
it was a long gap between this and her other movie.
Well, she
so-
talked about that. She said it took a long
Yeah.
time to get this made. Like, obviously, COVID happened, so it set them back like 2
That's
years.
true.
But she also said that like getting people to finance this, like, it was pretty hard. And it's an American production too, filmed outside of America, which is interesting.
I heard it was an English production.
No, I think it's American.
It's an
Thought they were
American
Frenchies.
film.
Well, it's a
but
French-
an English. She in that interview she said it was an American film, English production, and shot in France.
What does that mean though? So the production
I don't know.
company is in England.
That's what I got from it.
Okay.
Or was it an English film, as in it like an English spoken film?
Yeah, I thought you meant like English spoken. Yeah, English language. Because her first movie is not in English.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe
Did her
yeah,
first movie
maybe
take
that's
place in
it.
Australia? Was that Australia?
I don't know how. I don't.
Or did they kind
know.
of make up a place? And
I
never tell
feel
you
like
where
it was just a desert, and I don't think
Yeah.
they were specific about it
Okay.
because he was good there. He was gonna like send her to Canada, and he's like, it's basically America.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where they were exactly.
Yeah.
Acting performance.
All right. You go first, and then I'll go, and then Jake will go.
I'm gonna go 8.8.
I'm gonna go
Maybe
8.
even 8.9.
Okay, I'm gonna go 8.3.
Let's go 8.5.
Ooh. Plot development.
See, this is hard because it was awesome, but also like it's not very.
It was predictable, but it was but
It
also
was done
not.
so well. Yeah.
Because when it developed toward the end, boy,
This is
did it
crazy.
develop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5. 7.5.
I'm gonna go 7.8.
Okay.
I was gonna also do 7.5.
Cinematography. Cinematography. I'm gonna give it a 7.9.
I'll give it a 8.1.
I'll keep it at 7.5. No, I'll give it an 8. I think 8.
8.
It was very well shot.
You know, I'll bump mine up to 8 too.
Pretty crazy colors. Pretty.
Colors.
Great
the- yeah,
framing too.
The imagery
great
was
framing, great use of
Yeah.
whatever kind of
Different
lenses they were
types of camera
using.
work too. All
Way
kinds of different camera
different,
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the visual
Um,
storytelling. I mean, obviously, cinematography is going to really add to that, and it was very strong in that department. So
Yeah. What's the next one?
Soundtrack and musical score.
I mean, soundtrack. Does that count as sound design too?
I guess, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah. I give it a 8.9.
There you go.
it's gonna be
Without the ickiness of the soundtrack, the movie wouldn't have hit as hard.
yeah, I like it. I liked it, but I'm only going to give it an 8. It was over the top, but I mean, it was over the top on purpose, but
Yeah.
still over the top.
I can see how
Yeah.
some people would
It-
hate it.
Oh, sure. Dude, a lot of people would hate this movie just
It's-
right off the bat.
It grossed me out.
Yeah.
It made me
Yeah.
feel icky, but
Yeah.
that's also a compliment in the same
It's
way.
kind of like the
because
same. It had. I
it's
had some
uncomfortable.
of the same feelings of that gambling movie, the Safdie brothers gambling movie. One of them.
Uncut Gems?
like,
Yeah, and
almost
just,
like overdone
Yeah.
sometimes, but
I feel
Yeah.
It was
uncomfortable
purposeful.
right now.
Yeah.
Direction and editing, which she did both.
I'm gonna give that a 9.
I'll also give that a 9. That was very well done.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 9.2. Fuck you guys.
Whoa.
Production design and visual effects. I mean,
I'm gonna go probably 8.8.
yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say 9, dude. Like they actually did a really fucking great job with
yeah.
that.
I'm going 9.5.
going
Original,
high.
originality, and creativity. I think this is some of the best visual effects when it comes to practical effects. Like of the year, gotta be.
I'm also gonna say with the subtext and what it's about, there's a lot of ways you can have made this movie. A lot of obvious ways, a lot of ways that probably I wouldn't have watched this movie because it wouldn't have seemed interesting. So in that, I'm probably gonna go 8.5.
For originality and creativity,
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, I'll just get 8. It's still a good score. They did a good job. Fucking weird. They kept it deep but kept it simple at the same time.
Exactly.
They like kind of had a lot of things to say without saying too much.
Exactly.
I think 8.5 is fair. Pacing and overall flow.
I'll go 8.
You know,
I think the movie could have been 10 minutes shorter and probably a little. I mean, not that it would have been better, but I still would have been fine with it if it was 10 minutes shorter.
I'm gonna go 7.8 on that one
There you go.
because I do agree. Could have cut out a little bit probably.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just say 7. Kind of lingered on some shit too much.
I feel
for
like
me.
it flowed better the second time for me for some reason. Is that weird?
Probably because in the first
Felt
time
a
you were
little
just
long
you were
both times.
expecting probably like well shit what's coming next, whereas this time you knew it was coming and you could concentrate on more of like what was happening.
I knew I was just like I was ready for the ride that I knew I was about to take. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, because it almost was the opposite with me. Because I almost like in the second time around, there was parts that were coming up that I'm like, God damn it, I don't want
I
to
gotta watch this now.
I don't want to
Yes.
fucking watch this again. Like they did
Yeah.
a
There
good
was a
job
couple
with
of those,
that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
fuck, it's just not. It's
Her like moving her leg the first time, like the
Yeah.
first time she tries
yeah,
to
like,
get up.
yeah. I don't want to say I didn't enjoy it, but it was just still one of those like
It's hard to watch
it was
shit, man.
hard to watch, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard to watch.
Emotional impact.
Does that count as fucking feeling grossed out as
I
fuck?
think so.
Yeah,
How
definitely.
to make you feel.
Definitely. If it gives you any type of feeling that's strong, that's what emotional impact is.
Probably 8.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna
then
go
for me.
8. I'm gonna go 8.
8.5.
I'm going 8.8 on that one. Made me feel, dude.
All right, change mine to 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Cultural and or societal relevance.
Whereas it doesn't really equate to us in any way. I feel like the point of this movie is exactly that. So I got to go 8.5.
Yeah, I disagree in that I still think that it affects or it equates to us.
It does. It does.
Everyone.
Except that like on the surface of it, it's like not about us per se. But yeah, I agree.
But there's other parts of society it also is about.
Yeah,
But
sure.
that is one of them, and it being relevant even to the ladies. I'll give it an 8 for that. It had a lot, like I said, it had a lot to say, but it didn't go too deep on anything, which I appreciated. So 8er.
Yeah, I'm going 9. Sick, guys.
Was that the
What are
last?
the final numbers?
That's it. Overall score. Schwartz gives Substance an 8.54. Jake gives it an 8.15, and I give it an 8.61. So about an 8.5 all around on
Those are
average.
good. That's good. Damn, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Good dang score, man.
We liked this one.
All 8s all around. What a weird fucking.
Yeah, what a ride.